Good morning, everyone. How are we doing on this Saturday morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever it might be where you are in the world?
Good morning. Good morning. It's so great to see everyone again. I am Dr. Shan. I am a Google certified educator level 1, 2, trainer, and innovator. I am so happy this morning to be here with my cup of joy again, to learn more about all of these different tools so that we can help everyone become Google Educator Level 1 certified.
That's right. This is day 2. So we have another great day filled with things. And then for those of you that are brand new, I'm Jared Johnson. I am also a Google educator, trainer, innovator, and coach. Also, leader of GEG South Carolina. And so all that good stuff. What we want you to do is tell us where you're from in the chat. So I see that a lot of you have done that already, but if you haven't, go ahead and let us know where you are watching us from.
See someone from the Philippines. Hello, wow. Welcome.
Yes. Oh, and your Twitter handle too. I saw the little bar go across the screen. Make sure you share your Twitter handle because we're all about knowing each other, following each other, and building our PLN.
Venezuela, Massachusetts, Memphis, Tennessee, people from the UK, Ohio, Illinois, Massachusetts. We are in the house this morning. Peru. Hello, Austin, Texas. Mike's in England. Thank you for sharing your Twitter handle, all about creating those communities. Feel free to follow us on Twitter, follow Global GEG. And of course, you see all of these people in the chat adding their Twitter handles. Create that tribe, create that team that we're all here to learn from each other. Ontario, Italy, India, New Mexico. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
All right. That is awesome. I love seeing all these people. Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm actually originally from Ohio, so that's good to see some Ohio people in there.
I just saw New Jersey pop up. I am coming to you from New Jersey as well. Oh, happy birthday, Mike Scott. Happy birthday.
All right. Can everybody see my screen?
No, we can't. We cannot see it yet.
Let's see.
There we are. Okay.
Actually, I'm not seeing my screen. Are you? Oh,
yes.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. Maybe there's a lag on my side of it. All right. So again, we're your host, Dr. Shan, and I am Jared, and we are very excited to see you here. But if this is your first time for boot camp, we want to do a little recap. So this is day 2 of level 1. Last Saturday, we did level 1, but that was day 1. So we're going to just do a quick little recap in case you missed it, because that video is linked on our YouTube channel and our Global GEG website. But last Saturday, we discussed Chrome, Google Drive, Gmail, Calendar, Docs, Slides, and then we had a really good question and answer session. And then this screenshot was taken this morning of the leaderboard. Here are the individuals that are in the top 5 place on the leaderboard. And remember that in the top 5 in the leaderboard for level 1, and then again for level 2 next week, will get a voucher to take the exam already paid for by Google for Education. So, cheers to that. So take a look at the leaderboard. If you're not on it, you better get on it. And we'll talk about that in just a second on how to get onto the leaderboard. But just again, a real quick recap here. Globalgeg.org is our website. And if you go to our website and click on Bootcamp 2021, here's all the information you need about our boot camp here. So we have the sign up form in case you haven't signed up yet. You definitely want to sign up so you get the emails and blasts that way. But again, we have our schedule. Here is that day one video from last Saturday. Today's video will end up going right there. And then we have resources, Q&A, get to know your presenters, follow them on Twitter, social media, whatever they have out there. And then again, how to take the level 1 exam when you are ready. And then we have the information here about the leaderboard. So talking about the leaderboard, we go to the leaderboard right here. This is the current leaderboard. So what you're going to do is you are going to go to the, I'm skipping ahead. I apologize about that. I will go back. But to join the leaderboard, that is app.gamebly.com, and this is the code. And throughout this presentation on Twitter, you are going to see where we are going to post secret codes. Secret codes are worth 10 points each. Then there'll be challenges, and we will have challenges throughout today's presentation where you can earn badges and points. And that's really a great way to show your learnings. We'll give you a challenge. You submit a picture of how to do that through the Gamebly app, and then you will get onto the board. Now, the great thing is you have a week to do this. So don't feel like you are in a major hurry to get all this done while the presentation is going on. Sit back, relax, take notes, learn as much as you can, and then go back and do the challenges later. Don't worry about trying to get that all done now. And again, follow us on social media and you'll get those secret codes and things that way. And so I'm going to rewind back here. And speaking of leaderboard and challenges, Dr. Shan is going to show us how to complete something that we've noticed some people were having trouble with this past week.
That's right. So remember, this is all a learning experience. And, so we're here to review. This is a teachable moment for all of us. So one of the skills that you will need for the level 1 exam includes inserting a YouTube video into a Google slide. Just going to take a moment and share my screen. And a quick review. It really is quite simple. Am I sharing my screen here? Okay, there we go. Good morning. I love that screensaver. Okay, so just a quick reminder. I know you probably can't see it, but I am typing in slides.new. I typed in slides.new as a quick way to get to Google Slides. Remember, you can type in dots.new, you hit sheets.new to create new documents. So here I am in Google Slides. So inserting a video again is very simple. I'm just going to change the layout to make it blank because I don't have any words I want to put on this slide. Remember, our slides presenters reminded us to title our presentation. So I'm just going to keep it simple this morning. Just as a reminder to title your presentation. And in the menu bar, I'm just going to click Insert and scroll on down to where it says Video, Insert Video. All right, so this sends me here. I have a few options. I can search YouTube. Perhaps I have something in mind. I can search by URL. If I have a video link that I want to paste from YouTube into my slides presentation, or I can pull something out of Google Drive. In this case, I'm going to use something from YouTube, and maybe I'm looking for a global GEG video. So let's see what we've got here. Boot camp day 1. That sounds perfect for
Have you
this.
seen that video? That is an awesome video, Dr. Shan. That is an awesome video.
It's an awesome video. And I encourage you, once again, if you were not on last week, all of this training is still on YouTube, and go on over to Global GEG's YouTube and check it out. So here, as you can see on my screen, I have, once again, insert to video. I searched for the video that I wanted on a topic that I was looking for. I can scroll down and see all of the amazing content that Global GEG has. I simply clicked on the video that I wanted to select, and here it is inside of my slide presentation. Just like an image, I can resize it. Oops. I know, yeah, there we go. I can resize the image. And there are some other options along this side here, which we're not going to get into for level 1, but it really is that simple. Again, slides that new, insert video, find what you're looking for, and boom, there it is.
Boom.
Boom.
One kind of really useful tip with that is you can insert timers, and you can shrink them down into the corner of the screen if you want to, or if you are playing music and you want your slide to have some kind of music or audio, but you don't want your students seeing the whole video, you can shrink it down, and then in the video play sessions, you can make sure that it plays as soon as the slide loads or on click, whatever you need it to be. Inserting videos are fun.
That is an excellent suggestion. I know that I insert a lot of videos into my slides presentations when I'm teaching. It's great for social emotional learning, especially to have music playing in the background when students are working. Maybe you want Mozart or Bach or some fun pop song to really set the mood. So that is an excellent tip. And students don't have to see the whole video. You can resize it accordingly. Awesome.
Yes, and if you find like pop song lullabies, those are just the coolest things because they sound like lullaby songs, but you know they're to popular music, and the cool thing is the kids will kind of listen to it and they'll guess the song.
Yes,
but you don't have to have the video. And sometimes as a teacher, you can kind of have a little bit of fun and say, first person that can guess which song this is gets like a sucker or a piece of candy or something. It just adds a little bit more excitement to your classroom.
Absolutely. I love teaching with music, and inserting videos into your Google Slides really is a perfect way to accomplish that, whether you are teaching virtually or in person. Absolutely.
That's right. I just think it's cool. Okay, so
what are we learning about today? What's on the agenda for today?
Well, today we got a few things, but first we'll talk about real quick how to find your local GEG.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Well, I guess is my screen sharing? Maybe not. Is not yet. Oh, that's why. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. Hey, a little bit of a learning curve to this morning. Let me drink some more coffee, Dr. Shan. I don't think I'm awake yet.
I get that fuel in.
All right. So finding your local GEG. So Global GEG, we are a group of educators from around the world that are here to inspire each other and inspire others on how to use technology in impactful ways. We share strategies, we share technology skills, we share a lot of great things, but also so do your local GEGs. And so you might actually have a local GEG where you live. And so we encourage you to find out if you do. And you can do that by going to this link below here, and we'll share this presentation out later, but bit.ly, find your GEG, or you can Google it. It'll take you to a web page where you can look up where you live and if there is a local GEG there. And if you don't have a local GEG, you can always start one. So if you're interested in starting one, if you are on a Google journey and you want to do that kind of thing, we highly encourage you to do it because there is an amazing support system with your Google educator groups. And the other thing that we get asked a lot of times, Dr. Shan, is do we have to belong to just one or can we belong to multiple ones?
Excellent question.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you should belong to a multiple of ones, right?
That's right.
So yes, I say, of course, join Global GEG, but join your local ones as well. And really, it's just a wealth of knowledge that everybody is sharing to inspire, to empower educators. And so the great thing is the GEG share with each other, but it's a great way for you as a teacher to say, hey, I learned this at Minnesota's GEG or Ohio's GEG or whatever it might be. And you can share that with the educators around you because it's all about trying to build your PLN. Oh, what is this, Dr. Shan? What is this? Is this a leaderboard challenge?
There is a leaderboard challenge for finding your PLN. That's how important this is to us. The finding your PLN, again, creating that community, super important. So why don't you remember leaderboard challenges are worth 100 points. So this is something that we totally want you to do. Find your local or nearest GEG by going to this bit.ly, find your GEG and join. That's it. That's it. It really is that simple. Take a screenshot or share a link to your local GEG and 100 points on the leaderboard, a brand new PLN, a community of educators, knowledge, fun, laughs, find your local GEG. Look at that. Do you see what's happening in the chat right now?
I do not. Let me look.
Oh, people are saying that they are members of Global and their local GEGs. Love the terminology for global citizens belong to many. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that little tidbit. Always join. 100 points on the leaderboard and a wealth of information. Can't beat
that. Of course,
that.
if you already are a member, take a screenshot and do that as well. So this isn't just for new members, it's for everyone. So if you already belong to one, go ahead and share that with us as well. Well, let's talk about what's on today's schedule, Dr. Shan.
It's so exciting. I see 1 or 2, 3 of my favorite tools today. I won't tell you what they are just yet. So we've got sheets, which don't get nervous, anyone. Our presenters, our trainers today are going to help you write through sheets. They've got, they are pros. I know that sometimes I feel nervous about sheets. So if that's you, stay tuned because they're coming up shortly. Forms. Who doesn't love a form? Google Classroom. Google Sites, an amazing and easy way to create a website. Groups and YouTube.
Wait, YouTube in the classroom? Are you serious?
Serious.
It's not just for watching music videos?
But music videos can be watched in the classroom too, right?
True. I might have just aged myself there because I watch music videos. My kids find TikTok videos or weird crap on there that they want. I don't know. I just aged myself right there. MTV generation right here.
And just like last week, we have saved plenty of time to answer all of your questions. So don't feel like you need to get everything answered at once. All your questions will be answered before we close here today. And we'll show you how to sign up for this test.
That's right. That's probably the biggest and most important thing. How do you sign up for this test? So definitely
okay, are
stay
we ready to get
tuned.
started?
I think so. Just real quick again, make sure that you follow everybody on their social media pages, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever it might be, because building a PLN is a great way to learn, to share, to be empowered, to empower others. It's just a fantastic way to get ideas, solve your problems, and share, and really build a community, because whether or not you actually see that person and in person, you feel like you're friends with a lot of people. Like, I feel like I'm good friends with a lot of global GEG leaders and people here, because I communicate with them all the time. I see their stuff on social media. We send messages, sometimes text messages. It's a fantastic way to build your PLN. Oh no. Another leaderboard challenge? Oh, somebody is leaderboard happy here, Dr. Shan.
Connect. Grow your group, grow your community. So if find another bootcamp participant on Twitter or Facebook. We'll come back to this slide, I think, in just a moment. Why don't we move to Sheets now?
Yes.
And we'll talk about this leaderboard challenge right after Sheets.
Welcome. We look forward to learning more about Sheets.
Hello. Thank you so much. Hi, Frederick. How are you doing? You're muted, Frederick.
Oh, I'm doing well. Yes, I muted myself because this dog in the background is barking.
Yeah, he's excited about Sheets. He's excited about Sheets, right?
Yes, all right. Yeah.
All right. Welcome all of you to day 2 for Google Sheets. So here we are with the most scariest thing that ever any teacher has seen, right? Do not worry. I was in the same shoes last year till I attended the Global GEG Bootcamp. And here I am now to show you what Sheets are. And they are, believe me, they are not at all scary. Right, Frederick?
No, it's quite fun. And I cannot wait to help you guys out with my definitions and my take on the vocabulary needed to succeed with Sheets.
Right. So, hello. Let me introduce myself. I am Reshma Honap. I am a Google certified trainer and a leader for GEG Pune and Maharashtra from India. So, welcome all of you from all around the world. So, we just spoke about global GEG, and that is what I am. We are all together from anywhere in the world.
Yes, and my name is Frederick Crawford. I'm part of the GEG Nova and the GEG Maryland, along with GEG GEG. So that answered a question that Dr. Shan did an amazing job answering, as well how you can be part of multiple GEGs. And I am a Google certified trainer, as well as a 7th grade math teacher in Prince George's County Public School.
Perfect. So should we start with the vocabulary, the most scariest thing about Sheets? Like, what is all these numbers? What are all these letters on top of it? So Frederick, you would just want to give us a quick review of what's what?
Definitely. I did see a slide where you did show something very amazing. So do you mind if I share my screen?
Of course, please go ahead.
All right, perfect. Let me go ahead, share the screen. Even with the Ethernet, this is a little bit more slow. So let's go ahead. Before we could talk a little bit more about vocabulary, we definitely wanted to talk about the different ways to access Sheets. So first, you can type in sheets.google.com. A second way to do this is you can go ahead and type in sheets.new, which this is more of my preferred way. Or you could go to the waffle, which are the 9 dots posted in a square shape on the top right. And finally, you can access it through your drive. Now, let's get more about this vocabulary. Rashma, you did a great job presenting this. This is differentiation to the max. So first, I'm going to start with a column. Notice that she highlighted column B in this turquoise color. So a column goes up and down, or you can know that a column is getting bigger as the numbers get bigger. And then you have a row. A row goes from left to right. Notice as the letters get bigger, or as we get further down the alphabet, the rows are getting bigger. The array is getting bigger. The row is getting bigger. Oh, Lord. And then I want to give you guys a quick caveat. After you get to the letter Z, then the alphabet starts again with A, B, AC, AD, and so on. And then after you get through all the letters of the alphabet with the A starting, then we're going to start with the B's and so on. And then the most simplest of them all, notice that you have a cell. What I like to call a cell is an empty rectangle. Notice you have a lot of cells on the screen. A cell is nothing but an empty rectangle. You see this rectangle right here, it has the A in it. You see this rectangle right here, it has a B in it. And then you got this rectangle right here that just has the gray bars in it. So that's my little definition of that. So you have a range that Reshma mentioned right here that can be either in rows or that can be in column. And you decide, or whatever needs that your project has, decide how big your range will be. And right here, based on the example that Reshma gave us, the data range that we have.
That's right here. So that's our sample sheet. So we also posted the link for you to copy this sheet, make a copy and work with us. So whatever we do, you can do it on your sheet as well.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm going to repost that link in the chat as well so everybody can see.
perfect.
But yeah, but you got a data range right here. You got from this cell that says the 99, which is B, which is at column B, row 2. And then we got it all the way down to B25.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 24 numbers within that range. So I'm going to stop my share, and Reshma, I'm going to let you take it from there.
Awesome. Thank you, Frederick. And that just relaxed me because now I know what is a range. So if I say we need to select a set of data range, and then I know what a range is. So excellent. Thank you so much, Frederick.
Oh,
So,
I didn't even post that in there. Our backup people had our bags.
okay, excellent. So let's jump into our sheets and see what our sheets can do. So sheets are nothing but a whole lot of spreadsheets inside one Google tool, which helps us analyze the data. We can visualize the data. So as teachers, we collect a lot of data, right? You all agree with that. So we have tons and tons of data, and then it just blows up and says, oh my God, so many numbers and so many names. And like, what do I do with all this? Right. And then a time comes when you have to actually add up all that data. You have to come up with some averages for the students. You have to count how many number of entries you did. And that is all what Google Sheets is going to help us with functions and formulas, which are already in there. So in level 1, there are just a few of them that you need to know. So we are just going to focus on those few functions and formulas. So if you just look at this sample sheet, I have the data that is entered here with some name of the students and their test scores. Now, how do we add all these test scores? You just need to select all the range, the data range. Remember, we just spoke about it. Now, there are different ways of how you are going to use the functions. There are different places where you'll be using the functions. And Frederick, do you want to go about it? You love using functions, right?
So when it comes to using a function, since I don't want to do too much toggling, we can either press that little caret on the top under share.
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay. So that works for your computer. Click on the Sigma and then click
Mm-hmm.
sum.
Excellent. So we click on sum, and then it opens up a whole lot of syntax for us, right? So you don't have to remember what sum does. Mm-hmm.
And alternatively, you can press equal sign and type in the word sum, whichever one you feel more comfortable with.
Excellent. So I'm just going to try using the sigma that is right here and sum, like Frederick said, and I'm going to select all the data that I want to add, and you just press enter. That's it that you need to do. And our Google Sheet gives us the suggestion that do you want to use this function or the formula for the whole set? Well, you can use it. I'm just going to say no because I'm going to try what Frederick told us, the second thing. So another way of doing it, you add an equal to sign. So all our functions and formulas should start with an equal to sign. And I'm going to write down sum. As soon as you write down sum, it again gives us what the sum does. Sum, it adds up the numbers in the cells. You open the parentheses, you select the data again, and you close it. That's all you need to do, and press enter, and it's right here. Now, if I have to put it all on all of my students, how do I do that? So you just go back to the cell where you already entered the function. So remember, cell is nothing but a calculator. Imagine a calculator that you are using. We are not scared of calculators, right? So we should not be scared of the cells. So now you have a formula entered in one of the cells. You just click that tiny little blue square and you just drag it down there. Okay.
Make sure the cursor change first.
Uh-huh. So, yep, got it. And here we go. And you just drag it till where you want it. And that's it. We got the sum for my whole data, right? Super easy. Awesome. Frederick, how do we do the average now? Now I need to find the average.
So to do the average, what we're going to do is click equals average, or we could click on the sigma.
Okay, let's start with equal now. So equal average.
Then we're going to select our range, our desired range.
Here we go.
There you go. Then we're going to close that parentheses, or we could have just pressed enter. Now it's more friendlier.
Mm-hmm.
And we could click that check mark and be happy.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's so easy, Frederick. I just used a few little tips, right? And I think you can even get the average right from the sigma symbol right here.
Yes.
Excellent. There is another way I found out, Frederick. You can even go to insert and you can go on to formula or the function that is right here. And all of these are in there as well. So in the exam, if you think, oh my God, where did my sigma sign go? I just can't see it in my format bar. You have all the different ways of doing the same thing. So pick the way that works best for you. Now, the minimum function. How do we do that? What does the minimum do?
It finds the least test scores out of your selected range.
Mm-hmm. So minimum is going to help me find out the least score. I'm going to use my sigma again. It gave me the whole syntax that I need to do. So again, no need to remember what to do. How to do it. Just select the range. It's right in there and press enter. So 3 little keys that you need to use. And here you go. So the minimum score for each student is listed right here in the minimum. Okay, I believe, Frederick, max does find the maximum score, right?
Yeah, it's the opposite of the minimum. Everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm. So we do the same thing. We click on max, we select the range, and we click enter. And it's right there. So I am already doing great with my sheet. Okay, I do not need to go back again and again and use my calculator, add all the numbers divided by number of tests that I had in my whole year, and calculate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are doing great. Now I have a bunch of numbers and names. How much data did I have actually? The numeric data, I believe.
Yes. How many tests did these kids take
Mm-hmm.
before you found out you was the mean teacher?
Can I take your help how to do that?
Oh, yes. We're going to press equals and we're going to type the word count.
Superb. So the word actually tells us what it can do, right? It counts the number of numeric data in the data set. Let's say I'm just going to select the whole range starting with the name because I just didn't select the right set of data. I click enter. Do you think it's going to give me 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Or it's just going to give me the numeric? Let's check. Oh, it just gave me 4. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 tests the students gave in this whole year. I can again do the same thing. Make sure that the cursor changes when you are trying to drag and just pull it down. Superb, superb, superb. I love all these functions that we did, right? It just made it so easy. So level 1, do not stress about so many functions that you see right here under the sigma sign. You do not have to go too much in depth. Only the ones at the top are more than enough for you to practice. Make sure that you try your way, whichever works best for you.
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely. And this is why we show it different ways, because some people are more old school like me when they're like, you know what, I just want to type in the equal sign and the sum because that's the way I learned it.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are more new school. They rather just find the little sigma and go to town. And just notice what we had to make sure of whenever we were doing this to prepare our data for analysis is that we selected that the correct range. And then Reshma brought up a good point. We had to understand the meaning of the function, because some of us would have thought, hey, if we use the count, we was going to get 5. We were going to get the count to be 5, but the count said, hey, we're only built to look for the numbers.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So sheets are not scary. I hope we just started it. You're starting to get a little comfortable. So just use that sample sheet that we gave you and try it out yourself. So now we just worked on functions and formulas, but Frederick, the sheet still looks scary for me with so many numbers. Can I have a little bit of some visual view to it? Like, I love to see colors. I love to see the beautiful visual view that helps me analyze the data much better. I think we should jump on to formatting the sheet, right?
Oh, yeah, we could definitely format the sheets and make some of those numbers just pop out at us.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love that, because if you see, all the numbers just look same, right? The same color, the same font, and I'm not able to actually analyze my results. So Sheets helps us analyze the results that we have, right? We have collected so much of data. What is the use if you're not able to understand the scores of the students, help them get over it, analyze, and present it to others? So let's start with sorting. So the next thing that we are going to talk about is how to format the cells. So a super simple idea, you can go to format, you can click on all of these ways to format. You have a format bar as well, where you can just highlight the cells. You can change the color. You can change the size of the cell by just right-clicking and say resize. So right now it was fit to data, but I would want to look at more bigger. You just add whatever size you would like your cell to enlarge to, and here you are. You can select the whole data, select the range. You can change the color.
Rashma, and I think there's an easier way to select the whole data.
Mm-hmm.
Can you click on it? There you go.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Right? That's that little tiny box at the left-hand side. It just helps you select the whole data. So depending upon how big your sheet is, you don't even have to drag your mouse. The whole sheet is selected. Superb. Thanks for the tip, Frederick.
Oh, yes.
And then you can select the sheet. You can change the font. And I love to see this font with these numbers. And that is how you do it. Superb. Let's go into my sheet is actually right now sorted. I don't like it because my alphabetical sorting is not great. I think I would love to see it sorted by alphabetical order. So I'm going to select the column.
Before you sort, can you do me a favor? You see that gray bar above the 1? Can you pull that down under name so your sorting won't go crazy? because what's happening is they're going to treat name as if it's riot, as if it was actually one of them. No, there's a gray bar above the number
Mm-hmm.
one to the left.
Okay.
Go up a little bit. It's the skinny gray bar. Go to the left of up a little bit, very little. Go up.
Okay, let me
Above the
try this. Yeah, let me try this. So you can sort the data. That's right, what Frederick is saying, that it's going to even sort the names. So there is a trick behind it that you can do. You go to data, how to sort the range. Now we are going to pick, you can pick any of these, but remember when we pick this, like Frederick said, it's going to sort your data with the word name also. So N goes somewhere down there alphabetically. So I'm going to use the sort range. And the sort range has something called as data has a header row. So as soon as you click that, it is going to give you the name of the column. So it's right here. So I want to sort my names in alphabetical order. So A to Z, and click on sort. Here you go, Frederick. It didn't take up the first row. Another tip is you can just freeze that row so that it doesn't get sorted by mistake when you tried sorting. So we did sorting.
Oh wow, that's kind of cool because I'm used to doing it a slightly different way, and that's a good thing about these trainings is that this finds a way to not only just train the people in the audience, but it trains the people that are with you. So
Awesome. I love I could help somebody not get scared with the sheets. And awesome. So
exactly.
we just formatted the sheet from A to Z. Now, formatting the sheet can be done in different ways. Let's see, how can we do a conditional formatting? So in my class, I want to see the students who have specific scores, or maybe students who have scores less than, let's say, 40. I want to make sure that I talk to them. I give them
Share
some.
your screen again. Share your screen again.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. And
No,
I
that
am
was more so my sorry
okay.
because
No
I
worries.
was sharing to show them that little trick.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry about that. So let's go into the conditional formatting. So if you missed it, what I did here is I selected the range. I went to uh, format. I went to the conditional formatting because I'm trying to find out the list of students who got scores less than 40. And I want to make sure that I color it a little bit so that it's more visual to me and I can see which are the students I need to focus on and which are the students I need to give some extra practice. How about we add one more formatting, that is conditional formatting. Remember to select the range in case you forgot in the beginning. You have the range option here. You can go ahead and select the range. What is the condition? I want to see the students who got scores greater than 80. Well, they're doing great. I should be giving them some more challenging questions, right? So this is how my sheets look like when I do conditional formatting. So a beautiful way to analyze your results. You can even share these results with your principal, your colleagues, your students, just for them to go see how sheets can be useful. Right? Moving further with another tip of looking at the sheets, right? I love.
Rashma, we got a request from the audience. They want to see how you freeze the row again.
You freeze the row. Oh, okay. So we we select the row, go to the tools. Is it in tools or view? Sorry. So freezing the row is in view. So see, do not worry about not knowing stuff in the exam. Just go click on each tab and you will find it out. So I click the row which I wanted to freeze. Click on freeze. How many rows do you want to freeze? And I want to freeze just the first row. And here you go. As I scroll, my first row is right there. Do you see that? I'm scrolling down, up and down, and my header doesn't move.
Wow. So, Rashma, and I'm glad that you reviewed that because I didn't know that was called a row freeze until today. So, notice when you freeze the row, you see that there's a gray bar under the number one.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get you to move that gray bar below the one.
Right, I got it now, Frederick, because I had not
Yeah.
freezed the row earlier. I just wanted to show how sorting can
Right.
work even without freezing.
No,
Okay,
that's real cool. I like that.
And last but not the least, the exam might ask you to create charts. Now we have the data, we analyzed it, and now we are going to see how to create charts. Now, charts are something which we all love to see because it's just going to give us a more visual view of all our data that we collected. So how do we go and create charts? Remember, you have all the data right here. There are, again, few different places where you can go and select. There is this tiny little box with a little bars on it, right? That's called charts. That is inserting charts. You can even go to insert and click on charts. Now let's see a tip here. Remember, whenever you're inserting a chart, you need to have data, right? What is it? What is the chart going to do without data? So let's select the data first, go to insert and click on charts. And I'm just waiting for my chart to pop up. Let's try clicking here. Oh, it's right there. It's coming up. Okay, here we go. And that's my chart. Do not worry about where should I put my chart? Is it okay? Should I be changing the colors, especially for the exam? It doesn't matter where your chart is. As long as you have the chart, that's all you need to do. Select the data appropriate to what is being asked, and then just click on chart, and you're here. So we have a lot of different types of charts if you click on the chart type. Now, if it is not specified what type of chart the examiner wants to see, a pie chart or a scatter chart, or there are maps. If it is not specified, do not go into that and spend your time. You would rather want to skip, move forward with the next task that is in the exam. So there are different types of charts that you can see. You can customize the charts based upon how you would like to see it. Do you want it colors? You want to format it again? Do you want to add more types to it and all that? So you can go ahead and explore that. But for the level 1 exam, I don't think you need to go too deep into it. Now let's see, I have my chart and I want to just, I don't like it on my sheets. I want to just move it to its own place. Click on these 3 little tiny dots right here on the chart. Remember, that's on the chart. So click on the chart, click these 3 little tiny dots and click on to move to its own sheet. So poor chart, he's going on to his own sheet and he is no more here with the data, right? So if you see the tabs, there is a charts, and the next tab that came up is all just that. Isn't it a great way to see like what student did, how much he scored in each of the tests, and just share it with anybody that you would like? You can just copy this chart, click on copy chart, and then you can just paste it in the email and send it to your supervisor or your principal. You can even publish this chart on the Google Sites that is public to, let's say, your school domain, or wherever you want to publish the chart, your successes and your records. You can even download the chart and then share it with someone else. So we looked at functions and formulas. We looked at formatting and sorting. We looked at charts. I think that is all that you need for level 1 exam, right? How do we share the sheet?
That's about it. So to share the sheet, you can go to that big old green button on the top right that says share.
Awesome. And can I just share it with my other teachers, just few of them, or do I need to share it to everybody all the time?
You can share it to a few teachers. It depends on what you want. So we have somebody asking, can you repeat how to put the chart on its own sheet? So when you're putting, I'm going to give it verbally, and Reshma, if you can show them while I'm saying this. So let's say you make a chart. It's going to come small. Like you're going to have a very small chart. Then there are triple dots on the top right.
Okay. See, I just forgot to select the range. The data, right? We need data for charts.
Yes, exactly. Click on that triple dots, and then you will see moves to on sheet. I'm about to say move chart to on sheet.
Superb. So here we have. So remember to select the data, right? And in case in your exam you're trying to create a chart and you don't see a chart, probably you forgot to select your the data that you want to create a chart for. Okay, so we were talking about share, and that's the last thing from Sheets. You can share it with people if you know their email addresses. You can share it on the web. You can have anybody with the link. You can just keep restricted to the people you want to share it with, as well as you can have it in your school domain, just people in your school domain. Sharing settings, same like always. People can view, comment, or be an editor on those.
So we had somebody ask, is there a way to share an individual sheet, not the entire workbook?
I don't think so. You can share an individual sheet, but you know what? You can always protect your data. So you can always share it, and you can protect the data by going down to that little tiny dot at the bottom, and it says protect your sheet. So it's a great idea to actually import your sheet to a different spreadsheet and then share it if you don't want others to look at other data. But if it's okay to look at, but you don't want people to change anything there, you can protect your sheet by going to this tiny arrow and protect sheet. You can protect the whole sheet. You can protect the whole range. So there are ways how you can protect your data, but sharing, I would prefer to have the shared file to be a separate file than all my other content.
And
right,
then you have, yes. And then you have Pilly. She's asking by publishing the sheet.
That is one of a great option, right? We can publish the sheet, so we can just click on publish sheet, and then you can share it so that nobody can see the other sheets that are attached to the same spreadsheet. Excellent. I think we could.
Well, we got questions. Like, people are very intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got people who want to see the alternative way of freezing a row. You got people who want to see protecting the sheet again. You got people who want to see about downloading the PDF. And
so, you know what? Sheets is like amazing. Sheets is like you can just go a lot deep into, but today we are just focusing on level 1. So don't get intrigued with so many functions that the sheet can do. So we will be talking about it in level 2, but if you go to file, download, PDF, share it. So a lot of different options. And I love that Philly suggested that publishing the sheet can be one of the ways to not share everything with others, right? Just what you want.
Oh, yes, and I will give you guys a quick hint. Let's say if you're taking a test and you're getting nervous, that help button on that top right next to the last edit was 3 minutes ago. That's your friend, because I'm going to be honest with you. When I was taking the exam and I was like, oh, snap, I forgot something. I clicked that help button and typed what I wanted, and I got it in lickety-split.
Excellent tip, Frederick. Yes, and help button is always there. Just try clicking here and there, and you will figure it out. Sheets do not stink. That's what Dr. Shan said, right?
Holy sheet, that was awesome. Thank you, guys. That was great. Because I'm one of those people that's very fearful of sheets too. And so this was great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You know your lesson went well when people start asking questions.
That's right.
Yeah, everybody, all the best. Rock on with your level 1. Bye-bye.
And our Twitters are out there. You can contact us. All right.
That was awesome. Super, super awesome. I learned so much about sheets. I hope you learned so much about sheets. Okay, so we're going to go right into forms. Remember that if you still have questions about sheets or anything else, there's still the level 2 training beginning next week, but also the question and answer at the conclusion of today. Are we ready for forms?
I'm ready for forms. It looks like we have Jenna and Katie to join us. Oh, and that's right. Don't forget to refill your coffee, depending on where you are. Cheers to everyone out there. And I'm excited. Let's talk about forms.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to say good afternoon because it's the afternoon with me over in England, but I feel there's a lot of people here that we need to say good morning to, good evening, night even, maybe? Are we all good? Cool. I can't hear anything. But we're going to flow. So, you go. Is it? I'm just checking. Can anyone hear Jenna? Or is it me? Ah, okay. Let's go. It's fine. I was like, is it me? Maybe it just wasn't working. Cool. Right then. So we're here to tell you about forms. Introduce me first. I'm Katie. I'm a head of digital learning at a school in the UK. I am Google Educator Level 1, 2, trainer and innovator. I was in the VIA cohort. If there's anyone out there looking at doing the VIA 21, I go for it. But first of all, you need these. So make sure you get these ones first. Okay. So we're here today to tell you about forms. I am going to just bring in a screen that has a blank form on. So,
let's try this now.
Hey,
Hey, there I am. You gotta love the fun of a new computer.
I was like, is it me?
Hi. Ooh, down the rabbit hole. I'm Jenna Ashley, and this is the first time I get to say this, y'all, so I'm a little proud of it. I am the new instructional technology specialist at Old Dominion University.
Woo!
The first ones. There I am.
That's so exciting.
It is. So forms, I love forms. I don't know about you, Katie, but for me, it's a good way to get so much data that you can then put in a Google Sheet. Shameless
I
plug.
use them like all the time. Anytime I need to get stuff from my class, like a quick gather, can't get them all together because obviously they're all going to stay in their separate classroom bubbles at the moment. If I need everything, loads of information from them, then this is the way that I do it at the moment, because it doesn't matter where they all are. I just get them to fill in a form, and then, yeah, as you said, have all my data that just in nicely. And we can show you today how you can put it into a spreadsheet, because obviously you've just learned everything about spreadsheets. So yeah, so here's a blank form. Shall I do this bit?
I tell you what, I can start us with the very beginning, how I can actually create my form. So we know we love options here. Some of our friends are very organized with how they keep their Google Drives. So they want things created in certain folders. They want things organized certain ways. Otherwise, you end up with a mess. So say I want to create my form in a specific folder. If I'm in that folder, when I create it, I can go to New, and I can come to Forms. It'll make it in that folder for me so that I don't have to worry about going and finding it later if it's for a specific unit or it's for a specific topic that I'm working on. And it'll automatically take me to my form. What do you use, Katie? Because I'm one of those stickler people.
I am that way ultimately because, yeah, slight OCD, does need to be in the right folder. But if I quickly need to knock one up, then I always go to form.new, and this just starts one up straight away. And then obviously I can then change which folder it goes into from this point as well, or move it around later on and make sure it goes into where I want it to go into. But if I needed to do one quickly, this is my way of doing it.
And then a lot of people they get an idea for it while they're working on it, while they're working on something. You do always have that option to go up to the waffle and come down to forms.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got my form and I put it in my folder, but how in the world am I going to remember what it's actually for?
I'd give it a name if I were you.
Probably I should title it.
Yeah. All the children, when they just have like 10 things called untitled form. Like, no, give it a name. First thing you do. Definitely. So here we are. We've got practice form. And you see when you type it up in that top corner, it then automatically puts it in there. Brilliant. Good old intuitive Google.
And we had a comment in the chat that said that way you can use it yet next year. Absolutely. Please do not recreate the wheel if you don't need to. It's much easier if you know you use the same information year after year. You need that same information. Say we're coming up on back to school. Dear goodness, did I really just say that? We're coming up on back to school already somehow. And you know you like that parent contact form. This is how you redo it. You don't need to recreate it every single year. All right, so how am I going to get started now? So I've got this lovely form.
Yeah. So I guess the first thing you want to do is add a question.
How about where do we want to go for vacation?
Brilliant question.
Now, here's one of my favorite things.
Yes.
Depending on how I word my question, it might automatically change what kind of question it is. So this one could very easily be multiple choice, but if I say, type your name, it automatically changes my question to a short answer.
Magic.
Is it always going to match what you're trying to do? No. But the magic Google computer is pretty smart. It usually gets it pretty right.
Yeah. So it's our successes. So as you can see, we've got like a variety of different questions going on here, and then you've got a variety of different answers. And if you click the little, yep, there we go, the little arrow, you can see we've got this big, long, about 10 different ways of answering questions. So we've got short answer and paragraph. So that depends if you want your students to do a short or a long answer in there. You can see ours automatically chose short answer for a name. And then you've got multiple choice questions. We've got check boxes, drop downs, and each have their own different like need. If you need your children, your students to then upload a file back to you or something, this can be done through a form. And then as you can see below, they're getting a bit more technical as we go down. There's linear scale, multiple choice grids, times, dates, things like that. But we're going to show you the top ones, and you can see there's different ways that these will be used in your form. We'll probably give you some demos of some of them as we go. So we've got type your name. We might as well add your next one. Oh no, let's
one thing I need my kids to give me their names. I need to make, because if you don't make a question required, I love my babies, but goodness, they won't answer it. They'll skip right over it. So
removing that little slider, it basically means that they can't hand the form in until they do it. And if they try and hand it in and they click submit at the bottom, it then comes back and it goes, you've missed a question out. So it definitely is worth doing that.
So when I'm ready to add my next question, I can say, let's go back with our vacation. Where should we go for vacation? And I can put, I don't know, where do you want? Where should we go? The beach? Mountains? I don't know. Where do normal people go? City. And now I have the option to just add other. Say I don't want to give them all their choices. They may have another idea. They'll have the option to choose other. But again, I've got to make this question required. I used to teach a middle school. they will write over.
It's really good. Yeah. So there we go. We've got a nice multiple choice one in. There we could have left it open so they could just write it, but it's
we could
great.
give them another short answer. Yeah.
How about a drop down?
We can give them a short answer. With a drop down, I can give them choices. My favorite place to visit is, and we can even use those same choices, you know, beach, city, mountains, amusement parks.
Good one.
And then when I actually make it required, when I give it to my students, they'll be able to click the drop down and pick just one.
Yeah. So I think they've demoed like the variety of questions that we can put in. What's next? What else was on our list?
So I want some more information from my kids. I'm picky that way. Mine will not necessarily type their name. I don't know about you. My kiddos would type their nickname or whatever it might be, and some of them aren't going to necessarily relate to what's in my grade book. So if I come up here to my cog, I can change some of my settings, and I can collect those emails so that I'll automatically get their emails in my spreadsheet with my results.
Mm-hmm. So then you definitely know who they are and who's filled it in. Obviously, they've signed in with their Google for Education, and then it all syncs up. So yeah, that's good.
And then response receipts is for if I want the students to have proof that they submitted it, that gets sent straight to their emails, which is handy for them. That way they can show their folks, yes, I actually did my makeup work, or they can show me real quick and I don't have to go look through the results. It's a quick check for me or for them. Now this one's very handy, restricting it to users. And now normal, obviously this is my personal trainer domain. But you usually have this on your school domain to where students can't be taking quizzes or doing these forms unless they're logged into their school account, so that you're not getting those emails with, you know, blah blah 812@gmail.com. You don't want that. You want their actual school account.
Yeah, so they have to, because then that works well with the receipts and everything.
Okay, and then obviously if I'm using this as a quiz or some form of assessment, maybe I only want them to do it one time, so I can check this box. I do have options where I can say I want them to do it till they get it right. You go keep trying these questions. You're going to do it. You're going to, you know, not put fake answers in. I can either not limit them, or I can make it to where they can edit after submit. And if I want us to be able to have a class discussion about, you know, well, how many of us like to do the mountains? How many of us would rather go to an amusement park? I can set it right here to where my students can see those summary charts and those text responses, so they can look at it and we can have a really good open conversation about, oh, why do some folks like the mountains? Why do you like the amusement park?
And that's live as the results come in. All the charts change. So yeah, the people who zoom through it and see it first of all, they might only see 3 answers, but then as more come in, they all move, which is cool.
But they will be able, say I open a form like this on a Sunday, those people that do it Sunday won't be able to see all those results, but they can come back later in the week, say right before it closes,
and see how it goes.
Maybe I'm going to have them write a paragraph on what they see in the results, because we all know how much we like to make kids write in math class. I've got some options with my presentation. If I am going to use this as an assessment, I can shuffle my questions. I can give them a specific confirmation message. So maybe I want them to go work on a specific assignment when they're done. Make sure you're finished with all your work for this unit or for this grid. I can show the progress bar if they're going to be in separate you know, if they're going to be working on it for a while. And then I do have the option. I have the option to make this a quiz and assign it points. If you're not told to make something a quiz, please don't make it a quiz. Please do not make it a quiz. If it says if that you don't see any instruction telling you to make a quiz, just leave this off and ignore this whole section. Okay, but say I do want to make it a quiz. If you have Chromebooks, if you're a one-to-one Chromebook district, you can turn on this box. Obviously, I don't have it because it's my trainer domain. I can let students see their grades right away. I can let them see it later. And then I have some choices. If I want them to be able to see what questions that they missed, I prefer letting my kids see that. I don't know about you, Katie.
Sometimes it's really good because, like, I'm sure we'll hit on it, but like, if they've got one wrong, you can then point them towards like a YouTube video that they can go watch, which will hopefully clarify for them their complications, their bits that they got confused on. So yeah, is really useful, that.
And then I can let them, I don't usually let mine see the point value or the correct answers. I don't care if they see point values, but I usually don't let them see correct answers because some of them, especially if you have it open to redo. Okay. But so say I've got my form done and I need to send it out. Katie, how can I send you my form?
Yeah.
Because I need you to fill it out.
So I would, before you send it, maybe as the creator of the form, you just want to have a quick look at it and see what it looks like. And that's done really easily by clicking on the little eye. So then as someone who's just created a form, you can then have a quick look at what your form is going to look like. You can see we've got little red stars next to the things that they have to fill in. And you can see there, that's what it comes up with when they don't put something in. So we've got our multiple choice one there. We've got one that you can write in, and we've got our drop down one. Okay, so if it all looks good and you want to share it out, then you go back to your original form and you click send. Now, there are two ways that we can send it out to people. The first way is just send it by email to people. So this works just like Gmail here. So we can see we've got our little envelope clicked for who we're going to send it to. Then we can start writing an email address of who we want to send it to. It could be a group email or a person who we want to send it to. We've got the form and then the message that you would like to go. Automatically, it always puts in this, I've invited you to fill out this form. But you could be like, hi, Jenna, here's the form I want you to fill in. Thanks. And then we've got the option of actually including the form in the email. Normally it goes as sort of a link to the form and it opens up in another tab or window, but we could have the form actually in the email. So if you tick that box, it actually goes in the email. And then if you just click send there, it would then go to that email just like it does on Gmail. So that would be one way of doing it. The other way is on the little chainmail link one. Each form you create gets this massive long URL. There you go, it's very long. You can just copy that and put it in your email, in whatever email you're using or Gmail, just paste the link in. Or you can click shorten URL. I'm still not entirely sure why this is here and why Google just don't automatically make the short URLs, but yeah, you can click it so that it becomes shorter and copy that. You can see it says copy to clipboard in the bottom corner. And then again, just paste that into your email or wherever you want on Google Classroom or however you want to share it out with who you want to fill it in.
So what if I wanted to share this with you, not to fill it out, but so that you could help me figure out what questions I may need to add to it, if I wanted you to be able to collaborate on it with me?
Okay, so keyword there, collaborate. Obviously with Google, we can have lots of people working on the same thing at the same time. So we could have more than one person working on this form. So again, under the, where is this one? 3 dots? 3 dots is this one?
Kebab, yep. And I can add you,
dots.
okay, I can add you as a collaborator.
3 dots snowman. Yeah. And then, yeah, in there you can add a collaborator. So you can share it with someone else to work with on it, and then they get the same editing rights. They don't get the form to fill in, they get the form to edit and add questions to. So you can have more than one person on it at once, and you would just type their email address in.
Yeah.
And then
I could just pick me and send it.
Send it. And that way it would go to whoever.
I added it to my personal.
See that person's been added.
Mm-hmm.
So then they would add some more questions as they go along as well. I think.
Yep, that's it.
That's more or less forms, guys. And how we create them. Oh, I suppose we should just say, and like once the people have all filled the form in, obviously to look at all your responses, they would then.
I just blank right now. But if I go to responses and I click on this lovely Sheets looking button, it'll create, and I click create. I can name it something specific if I want, but it will create me a very shiny, pretty Google Sheet.
Shiny. Boom, right? It's like all the data will be right there. And we just finished covering sheets. So now you know how to also sort the data that you just gathered from your form. Everything ties together. I love when it works out that way.
So those two, yeah, then come back together, and then you can do all your conditional formatting, make all the things different colors. It's brilliant.
Awesome. So it looks like we have another leaderboard challenge. Remember, 100 points for the Google form. I saw this mentioned in the chat earlier. Some people are asking, well, how do I know what's on the exam? And these challenges speak to a lot of the content that actually exists on the exam. So please do the challenges. What were you going to say, Jared?
I said exactly. They are taken, right from the test to help you practice.
Right. We know we say don't teach you the test, but we teach them to the test today. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, Katie. You are awesome. What's up next?
Well, before we get to the next part, Dr. Shan, I got to ask you a question. All right. It's a very important question.
Okay.
What kind of computer sings the best?
Oh, gosh. I don't know.
You sure?
Well, just tell me.
Okay. I don't know about you, but I love listening to Adele.
Adele! I thought that might be the answer. That totally made me #smile. If that made you #smile as well, say so in the chat.
Can we be any cornier? I don't think so.
Adele, love it.
All right. Well, what do we have? Who do we have up next?
Google Sites, one of my absolute favorite tools. And who's doing
Classroom.
it?
Is it Classroom?
Oh, is it Classroom? I'm sorry, it's Classroom. Also my favorite tool that I use daily, Google Classroom. Sorry, jumping ahead of myself.
It's Adele. It really is. You got the songs in your head. That's all you can think about.
I'm so sorry, Google Classroom.
Well, welcome, guys. We can't wait to hear what you have to share about Google Classroom.
Yeah, we're really excited to do that. And I don't know if we can top the Adele joke. I've just got to be honest. So
that was so good.
Hashtag that joke.
And full disclosure, anyone watching, if you hear and if this gets copyright claimed because there's Moana music playing in the background, my daughter is debuting her musical this weekend, and she is upstairs currently practicing her part for the Shiny ensemble. So during the movie, when Timatoa sings, it's good. Shiny is played, and so she is practicing. So I am down in my basement with the door closed and the door upstairs closed, praying that music doesn't come through. But if you hear it, you know what? Just enjoy it. Just sit back and relax. So, Piley, how are you?
The stream is not
Yes.
shut down, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Hi, David.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah. So we're talking about Google Classroom today, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, do you want to go ahead and start it off for us?
Yeah, let's start. Okay, so in the exam, well, Classroom is a very versatile tool, and it's a big thing, and it has it's a platform on it in and of itself. So for the exam, we have to keep things short. So the first thing that you have to know is how to access Classroom, and so you have two ways that are the main ways that you can do that. You can either type classroom.google.com on your Omnibox, or you can just go to the waffle and click on it and access Classroom from there. Once you do it, if it's the first time you do it, the first thing that is going to appear is that to confirm that that's the address of your email address or your username that you're going to use Classroom with. And the second thing after you confirm that is whether you're a teacher or a student. So one of the things that you have to learn is how to create a class, which is our first next slide. Cora.
Yeah, and I think it's good to hear you use that terminology, the Omnibox, because I know when I first did my level 1 certification, that was a term that came up. I had no idea what that was. So just knowing that is where you type in your website that you're visiting or your link that you're visiting, I think was really helpful.
Yeah, that I think I learned the term during the exam, first time I took it.
That's why you get another device to check.
Once you enter that thing that you're seeing on the screen, it's a GIF. So I think it's you have a plus sign on the top right, and then the first thing that will appear is either you join or you create a class, and then once you do that. You have to select from a set of there it is, a set of choices. You put the class name. That's the only thing that should be required to type. You create it. It takes a little while to do it. Sometimes it takes a little while to load because at the same time that you're creating a class, a folder is being formed in your Google Drive where all the information of that class is going to be. So you create your class, and then the first thing that will appear when you create the class is the stream. And so you have stream, classwork, people, and grade tabs as a teacher. And the next thing would be how to post an assignment. So the gift that you're seeing is how to post a question assignment, because there's different kinds of assignments that you can create. If you're in the level 1 exam, you should be careful to see what is it that they're asking of you. If they're asking of you to post on the stream, or if they're asking of you to post an assignment, because there are two different tabs there. So if it's on the stream, it's just like an announcement. But if it's an assignment, it's something that could be either graded or not graded. And you're going to have choices there to create an assignment. Could be just something that you're going to post for people to turn in something that you are asking for. You can create a question that could be either a forum or a multiple choice question, like the example that I'm showing here. What's your favorite color? And I posted it as an ungraded assignment because it could be something for your social emotional learning part of the class. And you can put a due date as well right there. It gives you a calendar to select, time and everything, and then you just post it, or you're given the choice to schedule it. But I don't think you're going to be asked to do that. Right, David?
No, you shouldn't have to. The big things I know what they look at on the exam. We just went through this past year. Our teachers had really jumped in with feet first, wanting to get certified in level 1 during the pandemic, and they did a really great job with that. But I know the big things they had to know how to do was creating a class, was posting in that class as an assignment, and attaching those due dates to it, and then posting in the stream. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about posting a stream and some of the options that you have with that as we go through. And the big difference between the stream and then the classwork tab is that your classwork tab is going to be things that are graded. And the way that I always explain that is if it's something you just want data or information back on, post it in the stream. But if it's something that you actually want to physically grade or do some type of rubric check-in, then post it in your classwork tab. And posting in the stream allows you to post ungraded content. And we'll look at all these things here in a moment. But posting ungraded content, we are able to post to individuals, groups, and the whole class, just like you can across Google Classroom. So there's a lot of ways that you can post to small groups or to differentiate your assignments. It gets a little hairy on your end, but on the student end, it allows things to be streamlined a little bit more. And a newer update is the rich text formatting that you can add when you're talking about posting things in Classroom. So you can bold or underline or add in bullet points, and it posts all the same types of work to that classwork tab. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my screen just so that I can show one of my Google Classroom classes. And this is just a general class that's used just kind of as a fallback for a bunch of people to post things so that they can record in Google Classroom when they're demoing things. And so, like Piley said at the beginning, she's talking about creating our class and then going into classwork and posting assignments, creating things from there. But what we're primarily going to focus on is posting in the Classroom stream, which is going to be the first thing that pops up. I know the posting is similar in both the stream and the classwork tab. You're still going to click on where you say announce something to your class. From there, you can choose what you're going to say. You could do something really simple. Make sure you complete this, and you can post it to your students. Now, you'll notice that underneath that, once you are typing something in, you get some rich text options. And like I said, you now have the ability to bold or unbold whatever it is that you're doing. So if you really want to make something emphasized in what you're posting, you can do that. So if I want my students to really see that this needs to be completed, not that students have ever posted something that wasn't finished, but if you want to make sure that you are driving that point home, you can do so. And you also have some options to add in some italics and some underline options as well. You can input your bulleted list as well. So if you're saying, I need you to complete this, and you're posting a couple things that you'd like posted, you can just say homework, check in, and read your book. Very creative stuff I just came up with there. Now from there, just like Piley said, in the classwork tab, you can add whatever you need to add to your Google Classroom stream. So the paperclip here, when you click that comes up, and then you have some options that you can choose just as you did with your classwork tab. You can post directly from your Google Drive. You can share a direct link, so from a website, or if you have a document that's been shared as a link, or you have a PDF link or something that's a link form that you'd like to share, you can do that. You can post directly from a file as well. So if it's a non-Google Drive thing or an item that you'd like to post, and you can post directly to YouTube. And I have to say, purely moving away from the level 1 test, but talking specifically about applications with this. One of my favorite things that we did this year during the pandemic was using YouTube and recording like welcome messages on Monday for our kids and posting that as the first thing in the Google Classroom stream, which I thought was really cool. But adding things again is the same there, and you can differentiate who you want to share that with also. So by clicking up here, you can choose the students that you'd like to share it with, and you can unselect them all and just go through and select the specific students you want, or select them all and post it directly. Now, when you post something in Google Classroom Stream, and this works in the classwork tab as well, you even have more options. So that little arrow there, if you click it, you can post it directly, you can schedule it, or save it as a draft. So if you're in the middle of something and you're trying to get it done, and you know that you're going to want to come back and mess around with this a little bit, You can come back and you can save that item as a draft. Really easy, just by clicking Save Draft. You can schedule it as well. And that's one of my favorite things that you can do, because you can differentiate that, save it as the date, the time that you want to save it, and schedule that post. And the thing I like the most about that is, depending on your teaching circumstances, whether that is something that you are doing at home or you're working with students in the classroom, or however that all kind of just falls down, you really can schedule things and get out in front of it and do it ahead, which I think is a really great feature as well. And so let's just say we've gone ahead and posted that, but you're not happy with what you posted. You're like, I did not emphasize the word complete nearly enough. So easy. Those 3 dots, you can click them and go back in. So you can choose to edit that if you need to go back in and make some changes. You can delete the whole thing if you just want to start from scratch, or you can copy the link for this to share it out. So depending on how you're interacting with your students or the people that you're working with, you can share a direct link to this if you're using Remind or Class Tag or Seesaw, or whatever service you're using to open lines of communication with your students. That seems to work really, really well. And so the big thing to take away from this with the test is just to make sure that with the classwork in the Stream tab, I feel like Google Classroom's pretty simple for most students and for most teachers to get, because a lot of us have been immersed in this in the past year. And a lot of people I know have had to step up and become experts at this, whether they wanted to or not, because of the teaching circumstances we were in. But the big thing to remember, like Piley said, is creating a class. And when you get there, posting in the Stream and posting in the classwork, and just getting comfortable with attaching things and scheduling them to be posted. Piley, anything else to share with that?
Yeah, no, it's all good. I think people that are going to be taking this exam are not going to have a lot of trouble with Classroom, because the main thing that they're going to be asked to do is going to be only like to create a class, to post probably something, and maybe even schedule. And the schedule part is super easy, because as you just show it, you just select schedule, and then you open up a calendar and you can type in the time. Yep. And that's it.
Yeah, I feel like the teachers I know, we did a class of about 50 this past year and got them certified, and they really talked a lot about how the classroom part was not too bad for them. But I know they some things were a little bit more challenging, but classroom I think was easy. I think that one most people will be fine with. So
yeah, so that's it. Dr. Shan and Jared, do you want to share the leaderboard challenge?
Yes, we have another leaderboard challenge. So what we want you to do is to create a new class titled My Classroom. Well, actually your classroom.
My classroom?
Create a new assignment titled Daily Journal at a due date for 2 weeks from now, and post it in the Gamebly app, and you can get your 100 points. It adds up. Remember, top 5 get the voucher to take the level 1 test for free.
To answer Sarah's comment that says about the posting to several classes, yes, it's coming soon. It hasn't appeared yet. Right now, you can only schedule for 1 classroom, but when you will be able to schedule to multiple classes, it's going to be a time saver.
Yeah, a huge time saver. Absolutely.
Cannot wait for that feature.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Oh, the slide is changing. The slide is changing. Oh, there we go.
Oh, hashtag smile. Okay.
Are you ready for another corny joke, Dr. Shan?
These are not corny. I'm loving them. Adele, I mean, who is that not funny for?
Right. All right.
I'm ready.
So, you ready? All right. What is Forrest Gump's password? Not sure?
Not sure.
Right. Any guesses in the comment section? All right. Having strict passwords is very important, but Forrest Gump's password is 1 Forrest 1.
1 Forrest 1. 1 forest 1. 1 forest 1. I got it.
Rick is shaking his head in just disbelief of how funny that was.
How dare you? But also good. That was good.
We're here to spread a little joy in my coffee cup and make you smile as we go through this training. Now, is this Google Sites?
Yes.
It is.
This is Google Sites. I didn't jump ahead of myself this time. Okay, I can't wait to learn something new right now. Take it away.
All right, very good. So if we want to switch to my screen, we should be on the same slide when we do. But me and Rick are going to take it from Google Slides, and we're going to have a few main points of creating, editing, sharing, and publishing. And before we jump in too far, I should say I'm Patrick Hausman from Northern Virginia, and I do EdTech coaching and supervising EdTech in my district. Rick?
I'm Rick Ballou. I'm in Minnesota, or Minnesota, the way we're supposed to say it here. I am a music specialist, and in the fall, I will be a technology TOSA for a little bit of time as a long haul reserve.
Very good. Exciting changes.
Yep.
So as we come through, one of the first things is if you haven't used Sites before, just like a lot of other things in the land of Google, there's a range of different ways to get to the different things. So for instance, if we're on just a new tab in Google Land, we can go to sites.new, we can go to sites.google.com. Any of those things we want to do in our Omnibox will get us there. If we do sites.new or website.new, that's going to give us a whole new site right away. Sites.google.com will take us to a site where we could choose from a template or do something there. Another option, just like a lot of things in Google, is to go to Drive, where we would go to New, and then it hasn't graduated to being in the front list yet, so we have to go down to More, and you'd see Google Sites there. Any which way you go is going to get you to a new site, and you can see some screenshots here of what the different pieces look like. For instance, if I came back to this tab and I went ahead and hit enter on that sites.google.com, this is going to be that exact page you'd see in that top screenshot. You can see what it looks like coming in from the app launcher, as well as coming into Google Drive itself. Now, I went ahead and front loaded a little because my internet connection is not the best here at my parents' house in PA. So I front loaded creating a site. You can see the only thing I've done at this point as this site got created was come up in the top and name that site. And then I went ahead and shot it over, shared it to Rick via the share button here at the top. And Rick's going to take it away now and show you some different editing pieces.
Yep. Can you all see my screen now? Hello? Are you able to see my screen?
I believe I see it. I think we're good.
Yep. Cool. I shared just the tab. So we're going to talk about editing. There's a lot of different things you can do. As it is a Google thing. Over here on the insert, you can decide if you want to insert a text box. We already have a title here. Every time. We already have a title here, which Patrick already made, but you can put your title there as well. And you can insert other text boxes by just choosing text box, and it'll pop up. You can insert images, embed. This is where you would use an embed code, either by URL or an embed code. You can pull anything in from your drive, any sort of recent document. You can choose what sort of layout you want to insert, like something like this, or something like that, or one of these, or one of those, or a couple of these and some of that. But there's a lot of different things you can add, and that's cool. It's Google. But like Dr. Shan said earlier, we're not supposed to teach to the test, but we're going to teach to the test. One of the things you might be asked is to create a site, as we've done here, and then, because you've got your page, come over here to pages, and you might be asked to add another page. Now, where do you suppose you do that? Well, it's Google, and it's going to make it real easy for you. It's got a plus button. Once you mouse over it, it's going to give you the option to add a new page. So you can add a new page and call it, I don't know, other page. I have a feeling the exam might tell you exactly what to label it, But then you just click that, and now when you are on the site, if you're on the home page, right, it's going to give you this little pop-up over here letting you know that there's another page to this website. And you can choose if you want it to be navigation on top, or you can choose to have it at navigation along the side here, so it's a drop-down. But let's say in the exam it gets even more specific. So we've created this other page, and now it wants you to have a sub-page. Well, if you hit this button, it's just going to give you another page, right? Another page. And that's fine, but that isn't necessarily what a subpage is. The way you find subpage is our 3 little dots. Patrick, can you remember what other people have called this one? I heard Bob today.
I've heard snowmen, stoplights. I've heard hot dogs from kind of a side approach. So whatever floats your boat, if you remember it. Big testament in my side is always, if you see 3 dots in Google, it's going to be a menu. Look and see what's hidden in there.
Absolutely. So over here, that's where they've hidden that term add subpage. So bada boom, here's sneaky secret page, right? And so now we've got, if you're looking at the navigation, you get a drop-down menu or a drop-down caret arrow. Again, use your own terminology, and it's going to let you know that there's a subpage there. So I'm not saying that we're teaching what's in the exam, but that might be something you're asked to do. But this wouldn't be a global GEG bootcamp if that's all we showed you, would it? We want to include some other stuff. So I'm thinking, as what we put in here, besides showing you how to edit, we wanted to give you a couple pro tips. You can create. So if we go back to the slideshow, Bonnie, I'm gonna go ahead and add your screen because you have the slideshow up. Or Patrick, I'll add yours because you have the slideshow up, right?
I do.
Okay, so what we have here is, if you go back one slide.
Yep, let me navigate back to that tab.
There you are. Share to these pro tips video series, draft sharing. Oh, I was going to show sharing, wasn't I? Sorry about that.
There we go. Now we're back to the editing one.
Cool. So on there, it talks about different things you can do. When you go into sites, the way Patrick showed us, across the top there, the very top image, you can create from templates. So you can decide if you want to use a student portfolio, help center project. You have all sorts of options. So like Jenna mentioned earlier, there's no reason to recreate the wheel. You can copy and reuse sites, which I'll show you in a moment. But there also are tons of templates that already exist. When this slide deck gets shared out to you, you'll also you can click on the video series on editing, and there's a specific, because it's Google, there's a link to the actual help that you can use at any time. And one other pro tip that we shared with you, besides templates and using layouts to get the exact size for your page elements, there is a link to a Google site banner from Alice Keeler that will give you the exact, dots per inch or whatever, right, of the banner that you would want to use for your site to make it perfect and work as you futz around with the view, which I can demonstrate real quickly. This button right up here that shows preview, you can decide how you want it to look on your mobile device, on a tablet, or on a screen. And Alice Keeler's template is going to give you the exact dots per inch on this guy to let you know exactly what size banner you would want to make.
Which is always an awesome touch to making your website just kind of look a little bit of a notch higher, is having that little custom touch up there, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Was the next thing sharing? Because I've already got it up.
Sharing and publishing, which is a little bit different on sites versus some other things. So definitely something good to point out.
Cool. Do you want to talk me through the sharing part?
Yep. So the sharing piece is very similar to docs and such. Look for that little person with the plus sign. Hit that. It's not going to be a colored button, but same person icon. So go ahead and give that a click. And then you have some options here. Number one at the top is adding people via email address, just like you normally would. And at the bottom of that box, you'll see where you can share it via link like you would other things. And this is one of the first places where you're going to see a difference. In Sites, you're going to see it notes the draft. The draft is that editing side, that sharing side you'd be used to, where it's going to be either restricted by just the person you send it to, or you can share that draft with anyone that has the link. And this is the first place you'll see what Rick will touch on next with the publishing side as well, comes in a little here.
Yep. So you share it with someone restricted. You click on this. You can decide if you want them to be able to just, I'm assuming, edit in draft mode, right? They can't publish it. That's what that basically means.
That is my understanding as well.
Yep. And so why does that matter? Well, right now, you can't find this site that we made. This does not exist yet until we come up here and hit this button that says publish. So if you've created a site, and I do this all the time, I'll create a site, share it out as information. Someone tells me that I've made a mistake or you should add this. I go in and add it. Like I might click added thing that I've just created and added, right? And then I'll say, there, I've added the thing. And they'll say, but we don't see it. Well, that's because I didn't press this publish button. Once you hit the publish button, it's going to give you some other options. It's going to give you this web address, which will show up as sites.google.com/view/level1 test day test, which is the title we gave it. Or you can decide what you want the specific who can view the file. So this, again, gives you a little more control over how you're sharing. And then finally, this is where you would hit the publish button. Is there anything else you'd want to add to that, Patrick?
Because we did have a question come up, go ahead and hit publish on it. Because we had a question of how do you unpublish it without deleting the site or bringing it down? So you may be able to demo that for them as well. But you'll notice now next to publish, you get a little drop-down arrow there. So again, 3 dots, drop-down menus, whatever you see, click those for expanded options.
So, yep. And then now that we've clicked that arrow, because we published it, the arrow showed up. Now we've got our published settings, and this, boom, this is where you've released it into the wilds of the internet, and now you've decided, whoa, I sent that out too early. You click on publish, the site will no longer be live. You can still make edits and publish your site again. So in other words, if you've made a mistake that is just too much and you don't want it out there, just go ahead and unpublish, and now that drop down, that little caret menu is gone.
Exactly. And the big thing to remember, as Fred was touching on, or Rick was touching on, as you go through, auto saves doesn't auto publish. Just keep that in the back of your mind. So if you want to front load some things for kids, but you don't want them to see it yet, just hold off on publishing or however you want to work that.
Cool. And then the next thing that we were going to talk about is sharing the site, which we did, publishing. The pro tips were share who needs to edit, publish to those that need to view, and check your share settings. And Patrick, if you want to move on to the next slide.
Yep, and I'll touch on one last thing on there.
Please.
If you embed things from Google Drive, good pro tip is to open an incognito window, go to your website, and see if those things are showing up, because that might highlight some things you might not have done, share with anybody with the link.
Yep, absolutely. The amount, I'm sure you can attest to this as well. The number of times you've gone to see someone's website and all the assets that they have there, you can't see, right? Because it's not shared is such a bummer, because they'll be like, here's all our data. And it just says, cannot be opened, or whatever the thing is.
Exactly.
Always bums me out. But here we have some pretty cool examples of some sites. Let's just to show you the power that is Google Sites. Because we've got a couple minutes here, right?
Let me see if I'll cross my fingers and pray to the connection people that they don't kick me off here. But there's a number of different examples there. But one of the big examples, obviously, that we can show you right now, Global GEG's website, completely built through Sites. But you'll notice there's custom graphics and things that are embedded throughout. All these buttons are going to be custom graphics that link you other places. So you can think of Sites kind of on that basic level of bringing in their buttons, using the built-in graphics and things you can search for. But on the flip side, you want to think in the back of your mind, how much different can I kick this up a few notches by adding more graphics. And you can see it just came up. Using a program that can assist you along the way, like Canva, can again help you ratchet that up a few notches and just make it look that much better.
Yeah, Canva honestly saves my professionalism all the time, because I would just write the name of the thing, but Canva can make it so pretty with all the templates that already exist. Yeah, and once we share out this with you, because I think we only have a couple minutes left. Is that correct?
Correct. About a minute, I think.
Okay, cool. Well, then when you get the sites, go nuts and click on all those links that we've included here. P-House EDU is pretty fantastic. And some of these student portfolios you've shared are just amazing. That Oceana one with the dude's eyes, that one is super duper cool. And that was made by a student, right?
Yeah, and to point that out, that was connected. You'll read that and you'll be like, well, those things don't make sense. That was a student project where they were supposed to create a website all about a fictitious government while studying local governments in class. So they went all out, custom graphics, custom things. They made propaganda, all kinds of awesome things. And I can actually link you into, if you like that, you like the idea, I can connect you not only with the full site, but the instructions and things as far as the student outline for the project too. So tons of awesome examples to check out.
Yeah, I remember when you showed me that before, I was like, that is so cool and so creative. And this app within Google Workspace is so cool and gives kids so much power to really explore. Should we bring on Dr. Shan and Jared to share the challenge?
Absolutely. I think it's time.
It's time.
We're matching. Wins.
Gotta coordinate, right?
Gotta coordinate. Oh, where's the challenge?
Hiding.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. All right, Google Sites, again, another 100-point challenge, free, a chance to get a free golden ticket for the test. You're going to create a new site, and just like for Classroom, you're going to title it My Class Site. So why don't you can even title it Dr. Shan's Class Site, whatever. Then you're going to create 3 pages, just like we just saw, and add a class calendar, student work, and about me. So each of the pages will address a calendar, be for student work, and about me. And consider adding images, text, video, and embedding a file from Drive. So there's so many things, as Pat and Rick just showed you, that you can do with Google Sites. I know I love this tool. If you missed something at all today so far, please go back, rewind once the session is done, and catch up right there.
And student created projects using Google Sites, that is power right there, because they are publishing, they are designing. It's a great way. So yeah, Pat's examples there are fantastic. I've used it with students before, and it is really cool to see what students can come up with when they're creating a website.
Absolutely. And it takes them from content consumers to content creators. And that's
right.
That makes them knowledge constructors. That's super cool. So
I would agree. I know,
knowledge constructors. I like that. That's a good term there.
ISTE term.
When that project happened with that student, they said, I've done a lot of projects in school where I kind of saw it fit in school, but now I've designed a website, and that's a skill I'm going to take well into my future.
Absolutely.
Right.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Dr. Shan. I think, is there another joke coming up?
I think there is, but okay, here we go. So you came up with these super funny joke. I'm still laughing about Adele. I really am. So I've got one for you. How do you spot a modern spider?
It's got a Google shirt on? No? Okay.
No, but he does have a website.
Ah, a website. Oh, I like that.
Okay, so
Probably a website all about how to catch bugs, right?
right, so that was Google Sites. Please do the challenge. You be a modern spider and create a website. And we are on to groups with Jenna and Ben.
Hi, guys. Ben, you're muted, darling. First it was my turn, now it's his.
Oh, blimey, now look at me. I was talking there to myself. How you doing, Jenna? All right?
Oh, nice Saturday morning out here.
Yeah. It's Saturday afternoon for us. Where it's a bit of a heat wave in the UK today, which is a bit frustrating. I've got to isolate for COVID. So, what better to do than be on a global GEG bootcamp delivering with you, Jenna? I couldn't think of anything better to do. I'm honoured to be back. So. Welcome everybody to Google Groups. This afternoon, myself and Jenna will take you through some of the information you're going to need for your Google Level 1 exam. But before we do that, Jenna, do you want to introduce yourself?
I tried before, I kind of got a little glitched, but I am an instructional technology specialist. I'm also a Google certified trainer and certified coach. Although I don't carry the cool version that makes me the youngest one, in the world, like somebody I know.
I mean, someone's got to do the job, haven't they? Someone's got to do it. So, for those of you that don't know, my name's Ben Moore. I'm from GEG UK, and I'm an ICT and computer science teacher, and actually the youngest certified educator and trainer in the world. Now, I would not be forgiven if I didn't mention that on my introduction there. So please forgive me if you've heard me say it before. I have to do it before the team rattle my cage afterwards for not doing so. So. I'm the youngest in the world at the moment. I'm sure there'll be someone that beats me before long because I'm getting older. So, if you want to challenge me to that, get on it. Let me know, and I'll happily pass the task over to you. So, Jenna, should we get started on groups then?
Let's do it.
About groups. Right. Okay. Let me share my screen in. If someone could pop that on and just let me know when it's there.
I think that's you.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to run through Google Groups today. Now, many of you probably won't have used Groups before, and that's perfectly fine. It's normally for your admin staff or your IT team to use more so than you as teachers. But it is important for you to understand the concept of how it works and why it works. So we're going to take a look at creating a group, looking at the privacy settings of that group and how you can adjust that not only when you create the group, but thereafter as well. Looking at the email subscriptions, so whether you want daily or sort of digests of those emails, or you want every single email going into your inbox, and the different uses of groups as well. So myself in general will sort of take you through each one of those and sort of walk you through. Now, what I do want to say before I say anything actually, is Google Groups is one of the tools that Google hasn't updated too much over time, because I think it's quite limited what you can do in terms of upgrading it now. It is got the oldest user interface, so things might look a little bit older than the other tools we've looked at today. But the realms of it is quite basic and it's quite easy to use once you've got your hands on and got using it yourself. So Jenna, did you want to walk us through creating a Google group? If I click play on this video, you can sort of explain as we're going through.
So you start by going to groups.google.com and you're just going to click create. They make it real easy to use. But some of the things you do want to look at are, who am I going to include? I know we had a Google group for the math teachers at my old school. That way we didn't have to try to remember, oh, so-and-so left, but we've got a new teacher and we don't want them getting left off the emails. I can make it to where only certain people can see things. Maybe if it's got, protected content, if I'm working with, say, my special educators, so that others can't see protected information. I can name it whatever I want. So make it something easy for yourself that people are actually going to understand. They're going to recognize, group 653 is not going to help anybody. And then I've got some options as far as who can see it and who can do what. Maybe I only want people that I invite to be able to join my group. I may only want teachers that are within my school's domain to be able to join. We have global GEGs that are, all over the world that are using Google Groups to, keep in contact. So maybe you want anybody to be able to request to join, but they have to be approved. So it's a really helpful tool, just keeping those options in mind when you start setting it up of what you really want to do with it and who you want to have access.
Yeah, you're right. And so I just want to add to that as well, if I may, Anna, is just that most of your schools, most of your districts, or most of the the trusts of schools you work in will have Google Groups in place, and you may not even know that it's a group. So you may have things like all staff emails, which are an email that goes to all staff, and only certain people can send those emails. And that's just looking at those security options, those privacy options, who can post to what group where. You might, as Jenna mentioned, you might have a department like your maths teachers might have a Google group, so you can email all of your maths teachers or all of your department just by typing maths@yourdomainname.org or whatever it may be. So for me as a school, my school personally, we have an all staff email, we have a teaching staff email and a support staff email, amongst others, but they're the main three that are used. So we can email all the support staff or all the teaching staff in just one email as such. Or we can send one to all staff as well. So I want to sort of run through in just a moment how to do it in live time, because it's all well and good showing you on a video here as we describe it, but to be honest with you, it's probably best seeing it in live time. So I'll demo that in just a moment. But we're going to look at here how to add people. So once you've got to stage 3 of 3, it's going to ask you to add people. So you can just start typing people's email addresses that you want to add to the particular group. And as I say, this is probably more so for your admin or IT staff, but you may get something come up in the exam. And people have said it all day. We're not supposed to teach you to the exam, but that's what we're going to do today. We're going to show you the basic concept of it, because it isn't a tool that you're probably going to use too often. So we just want to sort of give you the heads up, but not really do too much on it if we don't need to. So once you've added the people in there, you can add your welcome message. You can change the subscription for the group. So whether you want to get an email notification for every single email, or whether you want to have a digest of, say, a daily or even a weekly digest of those emails, so your inbox isn't flooded, they'll come through in a daily or a weekly fashion. Now, that's up to you for each individual group. It's going to be different for everybody. Now, in your exam, it will tell you exactly what to do. So do exactly what it says. Don't try and be fancy or try and show off, because it's not a person marking this. Remember, it is just a computer. So just do what it asks you to do. And it's probably going to ask you to provide you're not a robot, which is absolutely fine. Just click I'm not a robot and select the pictures if it asks you to do so. So I'm going to hop into.
If you're a robot, lie.
Yeah, if you're a robot, yeah, that's it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, would I be all right to go and demo this now, Jenna, or do you want to add anything to this before I move on?
Go for it. I actually have a couple of things I'll mention while you're getting set up. Because there was a question in the chat that actually just led right into one of the things I was going to tell you guys is you can actually use this for drive access as well. Perfect. So again, say I'm working with a special educator or a couple of them that are, in and out of my classes, or they're working with kids in my classes. I can give them access to documents by making, a Google group that's Ashley's math team. And I can say, okay, everybody in the math team has access to this Google Doc, so that the SPED teachers can work with my kids. They can see it on their end and not worry about, who's going to be in and out. So it's really helpful that way too. That's it.
And I think that's probably one of the things we forget to mention probably every time we do this training, is it's not just for emails. It is for things like Drive, is for sharing folders, files, etc. too as well. So you can always send it, instead of typing every single person's name that you want to send it to, you can send it to that one group email address, and it goes to the relevant staff in that group, which is, well, you know me, Jenna, I like to work smarter, not harder. I hate wasting time. And this is definitely a tool for me. I'm all over it. I love it. So I'm currently in a demo account, and for those of you that don't know how to get here, there is a shortcut to get to it, like there is for every Google tool. We're going to go to groups.google.com and just hit enter. Now, if you've done it before, it will preload it like you just saw in my Omni box or URL box. It will show you a preview to that, and it will ask you to sign in if you haven't already. I've already done that in preparation because I like to be organized, like to do things in advance. So I've already logged in, but it will ask you to log in as you're doing it. And feel free to follow on as we do this, because you will have a challenge in a very short while showing you how to do this as well. So as Jenna mentioned, we're going to create a new group today, and this is what you're going to do in your challenge as well. We're going to create this new group, and we're going to go for a group name. So what should we go with, Jenna?
Let's just call it a practice group.
Practice group. I like how imaginative we are. I love it. So I'm going to go with practice group. Now you see down here, it will give you a group email. So you can always give it your own name. So you could call it practice group here, but then give it a different name when you go to email. Now I'd personally keep those both the same because it just makes things a little bit easier. And it also shows you what domain you can select from here if you've got more than one set up. Now I'm just going to give us a group description of demo for Global GEG Bootcamp, and just
Those are
hit
helpful in case you make a lot of them and forget why you called them what you called them.
That's it. And especially if you're your school admin or school IT staff, this is particularly useful because you do tend to create quite a few in the school, especially for things like different classes, departments, etc., like we've spoken about. So I love that tip there, Jenna. That was great. So on the screen here, you can see, you get lots of different things, first of all. So who can join the group? So anyone in the organization, so anyone in your domain with the same last bit of your email, anyone in that particular thing can join. Anyone in the organization or your domain can ask to join, or only invited users. So users that you select to join that particular group via email. So you can select who you want to bring in. So I'm going to do that for the purpose of this demo today. Now, next bit is who can view conversations. Now, at the moment, you can see lots of different logos down here and only one thing. It says entire organization. If I hover over any of these icons, they all then appear. So at the moment, we've got entire organizations can view conversations. Entire organization can post conversations or send those emails as such. An entire organization can see who is in that group. Now we may want
that means my whole district can see what's in this, even though I've set it to only invited users.
That's it. And that's exactly what I was about to say. So, you know, as Jenna very rightly mentioned there, you know, even if you set it just to invite your maths team, for example, anyone in the organization can still go in and see your conversations and your emails and your shared files. Now, personally, and I think you're agreeing with Jenna, that's not cool. You definitely don't want that. So I'd probably put that at group members. Would you agree? Or maybe group managers even to see the members?
Or who can view who's in it? Probably group members would be okay, because then they know who exactly they're speaking to, who's able to see what they're sharing or what they're posting.
Perfect, exactly. And as you just saw me do, I simply just clicked on the particular dot I wanted it to go to. So it's quite intuitive. You don't need to mess around. It's just one click, and that's what I really like about the Google stuff. The next box here we can look at is who can post, who can send these emails. Now, if it's an invited only group, I would probably suggest being group members. If it's a department area, if it's for maybe an all staff, you might only want certain people to send that email, in which case you could just put group managers. It's very, very personal to your situation. But in the exam, I think it's probably just going to ask you to go group members personally. But it's a little while ago since I did my exam, probably 18 months. So it may have changed ever so slightly. And who can view conversations? Again, we're just going to put the purpose of the demo. Group members can view those conversations as well. So we've changed all of our access to group members only, rather than an entire organization. Now, when we hit next here, it's going to ask us who we'd like to be in this group. So who's going to be the group members? Now, I'm going to put in some of my training addresses here just because I can't remember anyone else's email off the top of my head. So I'm just going to start typing mine. Oh, I need to put the @ sign, don't I? Oh, why does it not pick me up? Oh, I'm not in the domain, am I?
I was going to say, are you in the same domain? Because if not, it won't work.
No,
We
no,
restricted
blind
it
look.
to our domain.
Yeah, that's it. So I might have to see if my colleague Darren's in here. There we go. Darren's in here, so I'll invite Darren as a member. Jenna, are you
I
part
should
of this
be
group?
too. I should be. Maybe.
We'll
Maybe
find
not.
out in a minute. No, I don't think you are part of this one.
Maybe
And
not.
we'll go with my colleague Ben as well. So we'll for the purpose of this demo, we'll put 2 people in. That's a very, it just goes to show that even as trainers, we still, we're still learning on the job. We're still having that ever going learning. Things do change and update in Google all the time. So this is perfect example of that, really, isn't it? So, so I'm going to put 2 of these members in. I'm going to decide here that I want Darren to be a manager. So it's just different access levels. So he'll be able to do more or have more access than Ben will, and he'll be able to adjust the settings, etc. afterwards. Now we could put a welcome message in here, so we could just put in.
This is a practice.
Sorry, say again.
Always good to let folks know if we're randomly adding them. If you do practice these on your own and you call them, put a note in there that says, "Hey, I'm just practicing for my Google test."
Yeah, that's it exactly. So I'm just going to put global GEG, if I can spell properly. Bootcamp. There we go. Now we did look at these subscriptions earlier, Jenna, but did you want to run through what each ones of these are, or do you want me to run through them?
So each email means that every time somebody posts and every time somebody replies, I'm gonna get an email. Which, if y'all are like me, that means your phone is gonna ding constantly.
Yeah.
I do swear by the digest version, which means I think it actually says it when you point to them. It gives you bundles of messages of about 25 messages at a time. If it's something from your admin, you may not want to set it up like that. But if it's, say, a group, you're going to miss something important there.
Yeah.
You've got a bridge where you get it, every so often. And then no email means you're not going to get any notifications. You would have to actively come to the groups page and go into it to actually read what's been posted.
And again, I probably wouldn't recommend that one either, because you'll definitely miss a lot more than digest and no email for especially for important things like your admin or for us in the UK or SLT. Yeah, not great. I'd avoid that one. So I'm going to go with each email for the purpose of this, and you do have the option here to directly add the members. You can turn it off, which means they'd have to accept the invitation. But we're going to directly add them for the purpose of the demo here. So when you just hit create group, Google will do its magic in the background, and it will ask me to go straight away to the group, which I can. And then you'll see straight away I've got the members here, and I can see the approved and pending posts and that sort of thing. Now, obviously, we haven't got anything in here today to show you. But if I went to Gmail now, just as an example, I should have gone, oh, dear, I should have gone mail.google.com, let myself down. I don't know why I just put Gmail on the top there. Forgive me, Google people in the background. Wasn't me. So just to show you how it works in real time, you can go to compose an email, and I can now type in here practice group,
and there it just pops up.
Just pops up, and I can just put in here demo for bootcamp. Hello team. This is just a demo. Please ignore. Okay, and I can just hit send, and what that will do is it will get sent to all the members of that Google group, which are outlined in this tab here, where you can see the different members for this this Google group. So that email will go straight to all 3 of those people just by typing in practice group at the top in your emails here. So
much easier than trying to remember everybody that you need to send it to.
There is. It saves a lot of time, especially say sending to staff and to type out 30 odd emails. That's that's time consuming in itself. So it's definitely saving time and my motto, working smarter, not harder.
I know a few folks, while we wait for Jared and Dr. Shan to come back on with us, a couple of folks have mentioned that their districts using it on the user side have disabled it so that staff can't create groups. You will, even if you can't do it in your school domain, you can do it in your Google test. Don't worry. It's
Yeah.
all the rights you need are enabled when you take the test.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong as well, to practice this, you can do it in a Gmail account as well, just a standard Gmail account.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Grab a friend and let them join.
That's it. Yeah, invite a friend, invite us if you need to. You know, we're more than happy to support you. So just add in our email addresses, or if you don't know, just contact us on Twitter and we'll help you out. So, Jared, I think you have another challenge for the guys watching on Google Groups.
We do, Ben. We do. And let me say, if I'm going to be grouped with anybody, I would love to be grouped with Jenna and Ben. You guys did a great job on your presentation, so thank you very much. All right, so if you're ready for the next 100-point challenge, what we need you to do is create a Google group and title it with your last name and then the word classroom. We want you to choose your privacy settings as you like it, and then directly add 2 colleagues to be your group members of your group. And like Jenna said, if your district blocks Google Groups, feel free to grab anybody that you know that has a Gmail address, or even Ben or Jenna would love to be a colleague of yours in your group. So we want you to do that and get that 100 points to that golden ticket.
Yes, and we are walking. Well, we're not walking, but we are the golden tickets right now in our golden shirts.
I know, I'm missing out. I didn't get a memo. I'm gutted. Me and Jenna are the odd ones out again. Damn.
Thank you so much, Ben and Jenna. And remember, you can use them as your colleagues if you need to. And go ahead and follow them on Twitter as well. Continue creating that PLN. Thank you so much.
All right. What do we have next? Who do we have next?
Oh, straight out of YouTube. Getting a little.
Don't tell me this is Stephanie.
Yay. Steph always makes us look cool.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm not cool enough for the bling.
We're ready. Because we love YouTube, don't we, Stacy?
Yep. Oh my goodness. That and Chrome, those are our favorites.
Yeah. So welcome back if you're joining again. We are going to talk about creating a channel, searching playlists, and subscriptions. But first, let's introduce ourselves. So my name is Stephanie Howe. I am in Ohio as an instructional tech coach in Pickerington, Ohio. Stacy?
Yay. I'm a STEM teacher in San Antonio Unified School District and a Google certified trainer for my district, and I have the most amazing STEM classroom, and I'm excited to be here. Yay!
All right, and then so go ahead, Stacy.
Oh, sorry about that. We have our little names on each slide so we don't collide, but we're both really excited about this topic. Everything we go over, Steph is going to demonstrate how to do this so that you're clear, and we're sticking straight to the level 1 exam. So we will definitely take your questions, but what you see in the slides is what you need for the exam, because there's also a level 2 version of YouTube. So we're just going to go to the sign in button. Yay.
And there's a couple different ways you can get to YouTube, right, Stacey?
Absolutely. So she's going to show there, you can click on your little icon in the upper right. Good job. She's going to show us a couple different ways how we do the sign in.
And so once you're signed in, your name will pop up and probably your photo icon. On the exam, when they give you a demo account, it's probably not going to have a photo. So just kind of know it's going to look kind of like what we have right now.
Yay. And you're going to click create a channel. This is a big deal. For if you're in level 1, we're assuming you just haven't taken your test yet, or you're really new to Google. So that's okay. But this is really a powerful tool, because if you're signed in and you've created a channel, you can start doing the other features we're going to demonstrate today.
I'm going to call this YouTube demo.
Yay. Oh, my favorite part of the YouTube channel, the back end. Good job. And once you see, sorry about that stuff. Once you see in here, you'll see all the cool things, and then each one of us will take a section of that to demonstrate.
All right, so up first, we've got search. Stacy, you want to walk us through the searching?
Absolutely. So love the Bitmoji, couldn't live without Bitmoji. So you're going to use the search bar to locate videos by subject, title, or by the channel. So if you're, I don't know if you're following Steph Howell and her Gold EDU channels, but I recommend it highly, following Global GEG. Most of the leaders in GEG Global have channels, and they need the subscriptions. So if we get up to 100 subscribers, we get to name our channel, which is a really neat thing to do. When you're searching, you're going to filter the results by videos, channels, or playlists. So we're going to explain what those things mean, channels and playlists. But obviously, searching ecology, you're going to see a bunch of videos on ecology, and we're going to demonstrate how to add those to your playlist and how to subscribe to different YouTube channels. And your preferences and activities on YouTube will influence your search results. So if you want full privacy, Google won't collect your data. But if you don't, a lot of your stuff just it's not anything you're into. So I recommend having them collect that data on your behalf. It's already out there. Why not use it to your advantage? And then you're getting, if you're into puppy dogs, you're getting puppy dog videos. And you're not getting videos about things you don't need. So take away stuff.
And then let's go ahead, and up here is the search in YouTube. And then if you type Global GEG, right here is Global GEG. And so again, if we search anything in our search bar, we find all of these videos that go along with that search that we typed in.
And again, this is really basic. If we were in the advanced one, which we are doing for level 2, we might show you how to see how many views someone had, how recently they published. So that helps you with checking your resources and things like that.
And so now that we've searched something, we might want to filter our search. And so to filter our search, once you type in that search bar, you're going to click these filters. Once you click the filters, you can have all of these options to really drill down that search. So maybe I want to find videos that was in the last hours. Let's see if there was some videos in the last hour. Maybe I want to filter and I want to just get videos under 4 minutes. And again, it's collecting all of that information as I'm filtering. So I might need to clear these different searches if I'm looking for more. But this can just help you as a teacher, because I know when I'm in the classroom, I'm like, okay, I don't have time for a 20-minute video. So I need something that's quick, easy. This will allow you to quickly search videos within that time limit. You can also search videos, playlists, channels. This is probably the one that I mostly use, is that time. But there are other ways that you can filter, and you can use that different search. So again, when you filter, it's drilling down onto what you're really looking for. You can filter by upload date, type, the time, features, and then you can sort it by however you want.
Yay. I love the time tip. I didn't even think about it. That's fantastic. As a YouTube creator, which you will become pretty soon, 4 minutes is key. You'll notice you'll lose a lot of clientele if you're not keeping your videos short enough for it to be useful in the classroom or relevant to people's attention spans. So yay, we're on to playlists. This is one of our favorites. Hot dog. We're going to create, edit, share our YouTube videos. And the playlist is how we organize that. So in Steph's YouTube channel and mine, we have educational ones. I also have ones that are related to our hobbies for cycling and stuff. And so if something fits in a certain type, we can give it a playlist, and then people know to follow that particular playlist. So, and Stephanie's going to demonstrate how we click save under a video, and then how we can click a new playlist. And
actually, let's go over to global.
Yes, there we go.
I'm always creating playlists over here. So maybe I want to put the bootcamp videos on a playlist. So here's day 1. If we want to go back and recap, I'm going to go over here to the
save.
And then I'm going to create a new playlist. Type the name of that playlist, and then you can decide, do I want other people to see it? So anybody on the web can see it. Only those who have the playlist link can see it, or do I want to make it private?
Yeah, and then you can find your playlist under what people call the hamburger or the YouTube menu. and then find that again. So that's really helpful. And there's other ways Steph's going to show you the other ways you can find your playlists.
So there's one way, as that hamburger that Stacy was talking about, clicking that boot camp, there is the video. So then again, if I go over to Global GEG, let's do the one today. Save again. And now I don't have to retype that playlist. It remembers it. And so I just have to click it. It gets added to my bootcamp playlist. There it is. So I've got day 1, day 2. And also if I go in here and I go to my YouTube studio, I'm going to hit continue playlist. Right there it is as well.
Yay. And then if I'm like trying to find something on the Global GEG site, on the Global GEG YouTube channel, I to the channel that is most relevant to what I need at that time, instead of just doing a general search. So yay. We have a lot on playlists. We're going to edit it next. Right on.
Yeah, this search button will search just Global GEG's channel. And so sometimes, this is like me a lot. I'm like, oh my gosh, Fred did a YouTube video on Global GEG. I don't want to search the whole YouTube. I just want to search for his video. So then I just come in, type those keywords, and then I can find it more quickly. So again, this one is for the channel. This one is for all of YouTube.
Super useful. So the next slide, you're going to see how to edit a playlist.
All right. So once you have your
good job. Go ahead. Read the slide, but we don't need that.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I go back. There we go.
So everybody, in our sites, we have it really detailed just for level 1, everything you need in here. So we don't, like, Steph's going to demonstrate, and I don't necessarily have to read the whole slide because you've got it right there. But remember, come back because we're peppering you with this one. But it's all very clear in there, and it's super, super useful. So now Stephanie's going to demonstrate how to edit a playlist.
So again, there's 2 ways to get to the playlist. You can go to your little photo, go to your YouTube studio, go down to playlist, and then click that little pencil. As soon as it loads. And how do you normally organize your playlists, Stacy?
I'm a big A to Z kind of a person, but I've noticed I'm going to clean up my playlist a little bit because I'll have something like be in ecology and then science, and then it might be in like, social justice, because it might go through 3 different types of topics. So I'll probably go in and tighten it up a little bit though, because if you have too many playlists, it stops becoming relevant to you and you're like, where did I put that?
So right up here, you can sort. So you can have it sort for you by like dates, most popular, date it was published, or you can grab these little handles. Handles. And you can move them around as well. So then you can make it however you want. So maybe I want day 2 on top. I prefer day 1 on top, just so it's in order. But that is how you can organize and sort your playlist.
Yay. And then it says click on the 3 dots for even more settings. So I checked before. Every year things change. So when you do your certified educator exam, always check the website on Google for EDU. But I did just go through these and made sure there's nothing extra, but it is something that will either be asked on the test as a multiple choice question or specifically one of your tasks. So I kind of went super, super deep nerdy on that.
And then you want to walk them through how to share a playlist?
Yes. So you're going to click on the playlist you'd like to share in the YouTube menu on the left. And then you're going to click on the share icon. This is how you share it in your Google Classroom. See all these wonderful places. So there's a little screenshot of each one of the icons you can click on, but you can share it instantly to your Twitter, your Facebook, your email, or to your Google Classroom, things like that. So it's all right there. You can choose the icon that you want to share it on. If Google Classroom isn't one of the choices, you can click an embed link for your site, or just a straight up link that you could put in your Google Classroom. So it's really helpful because as many of you know, a lot of people are nervous of just throwing out YouTube at our students. So if we give them a playlist, we have control over what they're looking at, and we're helping guide their learning rather than just dumping them in the pool to learn how to swim.
And don't forget, though, when you are sharing a playlist, you have to make sure it's public or unlisted. If it's private, only you'll be able to see that playlist. Yeah. So your settings really do matter. So I shared our playlist in the YouTube chat if you want to see it and kind of click around with us. But again, those sharing settings matter a lot.
And don't forget, when you're private, if a lot of us are sharing videos with our families, our kids are growing up, things like that, and who has like 500 gigabytes of space to store all of your videos. If you put your videos up on YouTube and keep it private, you can share it with family and friends. No one will ever see it, and no one can search it up. Someone could arbitrarily hit an unlisted number. It's pretty rare. You're going to win the lottery first, but the private channel is just yours. So it's a great way to share your videos without having to take your drive space.
And then also, if you want to add a collaborator to a playlist, so maybe you have a co-teacher or you're wanting someone to add some videos that you trust, I could share this link with Stacey and she could add additional videos onto our playlist. This is great if you're like a department team meeting and you all are trying to search videos about something. You can add all your favorite videos to a playlist to collaborate together.
That's like Stephanie's 4-minute tip too. That one is like, because a lot of this stuff is new. And that one, that's phenomenal, because before it was just you and you're isolated, you're working in a bubble. Now you're all working together and it's really helpful in group settings. Hooray.
And then finally, our next is subscribing. So subscribing, again, if you are wanting to be a YouTube star or become famous with YouTube, subscribing is kind of one way to do that. And so again, if you get 100 and you become YouTube kind of star, you're able to customize your channel. So if I go over here and I go to this video on the Global GEG channel, I can click the subscribe button. What that means is I am like following them. So if you're on Twitter, you're like following them. It's kind of a social media network. And so I hit subscribe. This little icon right here will allow me to know whenever Global GEG goes live. So if I click this button, I'm going to get an email. It's going to say Global GEG is live right now with the title of the video, and I could watch it or watch it later. You can also
remember, you can skip the ads. Notice how the ads playing because the channel's been monetized, so that's okay. But they only make you watch about 2 seconds, then you can skip the ads. So don't. I know YouTube can be as scary as sheets for people, but you can just click through it. You can also, personalize those ads as well, what kind of ads you're seeing. So don't be worried. And educational YouTube settings are much stricter, and you don't have to worry about that there either.
And so just don't forget to subscribe to different channels that you're really interested in.
You really help your fellow educators if you subscribe. It doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't bog you down. You don't even know. You can turn off the notifications, but if you subscribe to your fellow educators, most of us aren't going to be YouTube stars, but like when you hit that magic number 100, it's really cool when you can name your channel. It's really special. And Lorraine, we'll go right back to that, how to share a private video. Do you want to go back, Stephanie, or do you want to? There you go.
Yeah. So when you're uploading, you go to this little button right here where it says create, and then you're going to upload a video. When you upload a video, you can't really share privately. It's going to have like a screen that says this is a private video. But you can now allow people in your domain. So if you click it, there's going to be a button underneath that says you can share with your school domain. And I just really want you to think about how is your organization set up, because some schools have teachers and students in the same domain, and you just kind of have to talk with your IT team to figure out how is it organized, how is it set up for that. So again, how you're going to kind of share, especially on the level 1 exam, it's not going to be private. It's going to be videos already on YouTube. So you won't have to upload videos or anything like that. And so if I go over here to this bootcamp video and I'm like, oh, I have a friend that will really love to see this, you can click the share button. And right from this share button, you can embed it. And Stacey went over all of these different things earlier. And then you can just copy that link to them and email it to them.
Yay. My slides here. Good job. And last but not least, access playlists and subscriptions in the guide. Yeah, we got a lot here. When you're accessing playlists and subscriptions, you can look in your menu on the left. There's a lot there. It can be a little overwhelming because then all your playlists are showing, but you notice how like that little show more icon, you can compress it a little bit and find out exactly what you need in that menu. So there's home, explore, if you're just exploring different things. Explore is neat because that's their I don't know if it's the right term, but their AI that lets you, it's looking at what you're doing to see if it can be helpful. And it's in all the Google Docs, and it's really helpful if you're in Google Slides and you do Explore. It's going to see what you're writing and maybe give you some suggestions that are very helpful. Then there's subscriptions. You can see what you are already subscribed to. You have your library, which is everything in your channel. And Stephanie she'll walk you through those really fast, but for the sake of time, she'll just maybe a couple of them, maybe library stuff, since we've seen some of the other ones. Your history, that's really important. If you like knowing I save my history in my maps. I want to know where I was yesterday, so I've got a good idea of what's going on. If you're worried about your privacy, Google will erase your history, so don't worry about it. You can use it, and if it's helpful. Sometimes you remember a video you looked up, it's great for a lesson, and then you don't remember what it was. So you can look in your history. You can see your uploaded videos you've saved to watch later. That's super helpful. Videos that you've liked. Remember, support your fellow educators and like videos. It really helps. And you can see your playlist. So ta-da, we did it.
And with that history, like what Stacey was saying, is I go here often. So I might have searched the video and then I leave the screen or do something else. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I was watching a really good video and I was telling someone about it. And then they were like, can you share it with me? So you can go back to your history and you're able to pull up that video.
Yay. So useful. Da, 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 da.
The challenge.
Oh my goodness. Did we talk fast enough?
You guys did great.
I forgot how many slides we had.
That was a ton of information in just a little bit of time. Awesome job, but yet so clear.
Yay.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you. This
another challenge.
Yay.
Once again, we'll remind everyone that the challenges are here as review of the information that has been covered to prepare you better for the exam. So you're going to activate your channel if it's not already activated. Locate a video tutorial about Google Classroom. Global GEG has some amazing videos that you could use for this activity, and send to a colleague via email. Then you will find the Google for Education YouTube channel and subscribe. So this one seems pretty simple. Send us your screenshots and get your points.
Yay. Well, thanks, Dr. Shannon and Jared. You guys have been amazing today. Bonnie behind the scenes. The Global GEG family is amazing. And I got to present with Steph again. That was very fun.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Bye.
All right, Dr. Shannon, I think we got one more for you to smile about.
Okay, I'm smiling already. I just know that it's going to fill my soul.
That's right. So we all know YouTube is an excellent resource for educators. It is also a great resource just to kind of unwind and find something funny. So do you know what the most popular plant is on YouTube?
Judging by these little videos, I can't believe you chose this toddler on the 3-wheel bike, though. I'm going to go ahead and actually answer one and say, is it a face plant?
Yes, it is. Ding, ding, ding. There is nothing better than watching people fall down. I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up watching America's Funniest Home Videos that, you know, anytime somebody falls down or gets hit in the crotch, it is just absolutely hilarious. So,
Jared, if you ever have a chance to watch Bob Saget's stand up, not like those parts, but where he talks about all of the videos that were rejected that they received that they could not put on the air, I feel like there would be
find
lots.
that.
Oof. They get dark very quickly.
Wow.
Thank you for making me smile. I hope that these have made other people smile as well. Here is the time that so many of you have been waiting for. Question and answer. So don't
Okay,
want
I got a lot
to
to about some of
more
those
of your
videos.
time.
So let's talk.
Take it away.
So I
thanks a
did
lot.
see one of the first questions I saw in the chat just a minute ago was how do you find your playlists? And I'm actually going to show you. It wants to load. Come on. There we go. So I'm on my YouTube page. Then go to youtube.com. And over here on the left, I've got my library, my history, my videos. And if I scroll down right here, it says slope. And you can tell it's a playlist because it looks like kind of the hamburger that we've talked about with a little play button over it. And don't judge, I used to teach math. Here are all of my slope videos that I've made into a playlist. And I've made it public so that anybody can watch them. But any other playlist I made would show up over here too. Okay. So I know that was somebody's question. I would have to scroll back in the chat to find out who. I'm sorry. But now is the time. Any questions you've got, anything you need to know. Tori wants to know if we need to know about Google Keep for level 1.
I believe they've scaled back quite a bit on Google Keep as far as putting that into the level 1 exam. You may see it pop up a little bit in level 2, but I wouldn't spend a considerable amount of time researching and going back on Google Keep for this first part. Entry level, I don't think you're going to have to spend a ton of time in that regard. So rest easy. One less thing to worry about. I've got a question coming through from our form, from our Google form with the Q&A. Came through a little bit ago, but I wanted to wait until today to address it because I think it's one of those more underutilized questions, especially when it comes to sheets. And the question is, how do you calculate averages in Google Sheets? And there are several ways to do it, actually. One of the great things about Sheets is that there are multiple approaches you can take. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and demonstrate this a little bit. Let me make this a little bigger here to make it accessible. There we go. All right, Jenna, I'm going to have you help me out here. Go ahead and throw in, I'm going to need you to give me a bunch of numbers between 1 and 100. Ready? Go.
42, 83, 97, 24, 76, 12, 17, 58.
Okay, now you have, let me see, that was 9. You have 91 more to go. No, you name.
Go ahead and share your screen up there so I can see what you're doing now.
There we go. Is that not shared yet? Oh my goodness.
It's not.
All right, here we go. This is the one. That's what
I'm
I
doing
want
with my numbers.
I just for accountability, I did get them in there, everybody. I swear. There's the evidence. All right, so there's a lot of different ways that you can calculate average or mean. The first thing you can do is type in the formula direct. So anytime you have a formula, you'll go ahead and use the word equals, because what you're going to tell your spreadsheet is what you want the contents of that cell to be. Now, what's interesting here is you have the word average. And what I really love as a newer feature of Google Sheets is that it kind of predicts the most common formulas that it anticipates that you're trying to come up with. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go with the average. All right. Now, there's a few different ways in which you can do that. You can go ahead and use a range. So you want to, when you have a range, you want to begin with the cell that you want to start off with. In this case, 42, which is in cell A2. A colon is going to have how you signify a range through, instead of a dash. You don't want to use a hyphen for this. Like usually we use the hyphen or a dash to
like
symbolize
1 through 5, right?
through.
Yeah.
Right. In spreadsheets, you use a colon. And the second one you're going to use is going to be the final cell, which is here 58. That'll be A9. Oh, so anytime that you don't enter anything through accurately, it'll give you that error. That's going to be your clue. Hey, something I have to fig back in. So that last cell in our range is going to be A9. All right. So we're going from cells A2 to A9, and there's a handy little highlight to show the cells that'll be included here. I'll go ahead and click out, and it tells us that our average is 51.125. Now, let's say, for example, you don't want to use every single cell with a range. Let's say I only want to use a handful. Instead of a colon, you're going to want to use commas. So let's say I only wanted to make it every other cell. So let's say A2, A4, A6, and A8. If I only want to find the average of just those 4 cells, I'm going to use commas to separate them.
Oh, and they're all fun,
It
different
will
colors.
simplify that. There we go. Yeah, that's really neat. Now, if you wanted to have a range as well as an individual, then that's where we can start combining things. We have a colon here. Let's say A2 through A6 and then A8. There's our average, 56.5. So helpful to really know the symbolism and the usage of colons and commas when you have different functions in here. Now, if you're stuck as far as, okay, maybe I can't remember the type in average, maybe I can't remember the name of the function, take a look for that sigma icon on your menu bar up here under functions, and you're going to have the most frequently used functions right there ready for you. So let's say this is the range that I'd like to find my average of. I'm going to highlight these values, go to functions, and click average. Now, it actually puts the formula down here beneath, but it's still the same function, the same average, and the same cells. So that's something I wanted to adjust because that's been sitting in our Q&A for the form for a bit. Today was Sheets Day. I wanted to make sure we had a chance to look at that. Great question.
Plus, it tends to be something that's a little easier to see than just read about.
Bingo. Absolutely.
We did have another question in the chat. Jody wants to know if there are any questions on Jamboard for the level 1 exam. And the answer to that is no. Jamboard is a newer feature. It hasn't been added yet. I do know that they are changing constantly and adding new tools and stuff. So the next time they overhaul the test, I would probably expect to see something on it. But as of now, no. Liz is having trouble with a form. I'm guessing that's form. That
I hope
doesn't
that's
allow
form. Otherwise, like a fork of destiny will not allow you to go more than one way.
one way or
Right.
the other. We're not allowed to choose 2 or more options.
Now, in Google Forms, you do have different question types, and I think that's important to maybe like make a distinction when we take a look at what type of question allows you to interact with it in different ways. So let me see if I can bring up a sample form.
I've got our practice form from earlier. I can throw back up here. Okay, so if I want to make it to where my students can select more than one, if it's multiple choice, they're only going to be able to choose one. Okay,
Correct.
If it's a drop down, they're only going to be able to choose one. But if I add a question that is check boxes, then they'll be able to select more than one. So what is your favorite color? And I can put red, I can put blue, purple, yellow. Okay. And when I go to preview that form, now they can choose as many as they want. So that's all going to depend on your question type.
Now, a follow-up question as far as the forms that I'm seeing in the chat as well. How do you get some of the statistics from your form? So basically, how do you see broader data from the entries that have been entered? And there's a couple of different ways to do that, Jenna.
So I'm going to go to that responses tab, and obviously ours doesn't have any. Let's see if I can pull one real quick that does. But my I can see in here, usually in my responses tab. Forms from my kids. But it'll show you, let me turn that off while I find this. Some of those, whether your kids answer them yes or no, what answers they chose. But also it'll let me export to a Google Sheet. and I can kind of get an idea of, I'm a big Flubberoo nerd, sorry, where I can actually get the data that I need out of my kids' work to be able to see what they're getting right, what they're getting wrong, and get a little more feedback. Maybe I just asked a terrible question.
Exporting that data to a Google Sheets is really helpful if you want to be able to do more with that data than simply what the responses option in Google Form offers. Now, those response options are great as far as giving you like very broad pie charts or bar graphs as far as how people responded. One more feature that we want to make sure that people, especially with those multiple answer questions, those check boxes, I'll go ahead and share my screen again just to make sure we can visualize this, is let's say, for example, and I know a lot of state exams here in the US do this, they ask you to make to select several choices here. All right. So let's say a certain number. I'll go ahead. Is it all right if I share my screen?
Oh, go ahead. Yep.
All right. Let me go ahead and bring this over here. I'm clicking. There we are. So let's say, for example, this is a question. And instead of saying select all that apply, you have to select 3 out of 5, right? We've seen those. It says select 3 that are correct. If you want to make sure that people taking your assessment are, in fact, selecting 3 before they move on, you can click these 3 dots down here and look for an option called response validation. Now, when you do that, it's going to ask you, okay, so how many of these should be selected? At least, at most, exactly. So let's say I want to select exactly 3 of these choices. You've got to select 3 before you move on. I want to see what 3 you have, all right? I want to make sure everybody has accessibility for success on this. So when my users are taking this assessment, I can actually put in a custom message here. Make sure you choose exactly 3. Now, that means that they cannot submit this until they have selected exactly 3 choices for their assessment. So that when they take it, and let's say they click 2 or they click 4, this message shows up for them and they can't proceed further without that. So making sure that that's a really important element if that is something that you want to use to align what your summative assessments might look like down the line. So great elements to keep in mind when you're putting your forms together, especially for those check boxes.
Yeah. And real quick, just to show you guys the statistics. So this is actually a form I did with my kids reviewing for during SOL review for our state test, where I can see how many students have answered. I can go question by question. I can go look at individual responses. I can go look at that sheet. But if I come down here, I just want to get an idea. Okay, I can look right here and see only 27 of my kids got this question right. Did I mark the wrong answer? Did I maybe do something wrong? I'm not perfect. I'm human. Maybe we need to cover that again. But I can see, hey, 75% of them got this right. Okay, they're getting this right. They know the difference between a function. It's not a function, but maybe I need to pull these 5 kids, especially if they're showing up again and again. What they chose, I can see what answer specifically that they chose. So maybe I use this to help with my small groups. If these kids are getting it wrong, only 49 out of 83 got it right. Okay, maybe we need to cover this one more time.
Now, Jenna, very quickly, there's a question here from C. Lauderdale that maybe you can kind of illustrate for us at the top here. Can you show how to create a field or a title in Sheets and then transfer the field over to Form? I'm thinking that this is as far as let's say you have a spreadsheet that you already want the form to fill in. How can you link that existing sheet to a form that you've created? And there's an option to do that.
There is, but just know that it is not something that's on the level 1 test. Yes. So it's not something we're going to look at today, but we can absolutely talk about doing that real quick. You can come up here to Form, and mine's linked right now, but I could use this under Form. I could set it up and link it. Okay.
You can do that from the form as well.
I can link the form
Yes.
to a sheet, or I can use the sheet to create a form. Yep. But the good news is you won't have that on the level 1 test. So don't even worry about that.
But good forward thinking as far as how you can utilize that. If you already have something that exists, let's say you have a cumulative grade sheet, right? Let's say that you have like one spreadsheet where all your grades are going and you want a certain field to populate from a form into a sheet that you already have. That is possible. So great question.
Absolutely. Now we're ready for the big.
This is what the people have been asking about.
This
like,
thing.
Right?
What happens if I have problems? What in the world am I doing? Because it was a little confusing last summer for a lot of people with the switchover.
Yeah, and I remember. So I'm Ian. I'm gonna be talking about how you sign up for the test. So big thank you to everyone that's come before me and gone through all the nitty gritty. I just get to take you to the finish line, which is what you're supposed to do after all this. So either at this point,
and run with it. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So either at this point you're feeling after you've gone through everything, finally I'm there, or like me at the time, you're really worried about the logistics of how you're going to sign up for the test, and I'm going to walk you through that. So again, my name is Ian. I'm from Toronto. You can find me on Twitter. I realized when I put this up like a few seconds ago that with underscores does not work very well. When you underline with underscores, it just causes complete confusion. So this is me, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm a teacher, and this past year I was teaching in my school's virtual school. So I was remote the entire year. So the first place you're going to start, I'm just going to drop this in the chat of our YouTube link, is the Google for Education Teacher Center. So if you haven't been here yet, this is where you're going to start on your journey to actually register for the test. So again, what I've done is I've dropped the link if you haven't been here already. And I've seen this pop up a few other times in the video. Like I see, I think it was Bonnie put in a link to the support area connected to the Google for Education Teacher Center, and that has been provided there. So again, this is going to be where you start your journey. So when you arrive here at the Teacher Center, what you're gonna notice is an option to take an exam. And what I want you to do is look for the level 1 exam. So here it says here at the top, earn your educator level 1 certification, and you're going to click that register button. Now, once you click the register button, what is going to happen is you're going to be taken to a different website. This is called Web Assessor. Now, there has been some change regarding the exam platform. I'm not really going to get into that just to avoid causing any confusion. But this is where you're going to get taken to next. Now, once you arrive at Web Assessor, my recommendation is that you're going to log into Web Assessor using your account that you use already for all the everything else for Google. So for me, I use my personal account, which you can see here, but I also had a few other accounts connected in my browser at the time. But you log into an account that you want to connect in the future for all of your tests. Now, at this point, a lot of people ask, should I do my work account or personal account? I'm personally going to leave that up to you. I don't want to prescribe what is the best choice for you, but what I would recommend you pick an email account that you're going to have access to for the foreseeable future. So for me personally, I chose to go with my personal account, but again, I'm going to leave it up to you for which choice you want to make at this time. Now, again, you're going to log into your Google account. And once you've done that, if this is the first time you've ever been on Web Assessor, you're going to be asked to create a profile, a pretty standard procedure. And I know for some people that they got a little bit confused because they clicked login with Google and then they were still prompted to fill out this profile. So similar to what you'd see in countless other profile areas, name, password, address, etc., etc., etc. So make sure you fill out that. There. Then the next step is once you have registered your profile, you're now going to look into how you're going to actually take this test, specifically for you, the level 1 test. So once you log in, you're going to see this screen. And for simplicity, I add this funky little arrow. You have no idea how long it took me to actually pick the correct arrow. I was slaving over it. There was a few different options, and I decided to just go with this blue one. Completely random story. I just had to share because I spent too much time picking that darn arrow. So once you're here on the website, you're going to have some options. So what you want to do at this stage is you want to register for an exam. So you're going to click that button. Once you get there, you're going to see, once you've clicked that register for an exam, you're going to see two different options. At this point in time, you're looking for the educator exams. I know for a lot of you in your near future, once you've passed both the level 1 and level 2 exams and you have experience supporting others, that you're going to look for the trainer exam. But at this point, you're going to focus on that educator exam. Now, we're going to talk a bit about vouchers in a second, but what you're going to be prompted to right away when you click the 4 educator prompts is these two different options. At this juncture, because you're preparing for your level 1 exam, you're going to click buy now for the Google Certified Educator level 1 exam. Now, this process is repeated when you want to do level 2, except for in that instance, you're going to click level 2. But again, right now we're focusing on level 1, so I shouldn't jump ahead too much. And so apologies if I cause any confusion. But for right now, your goal is to get that level 1. So click buy now right there. Once you click buy now, this is where the voucher conversation comes in. So I know a lot of you are participating in the leaderboard and you're hoping to get that voucher. I know for a lot of you, you're actually going to get your voucher through employers or through other means. Once you get to this stage, if you do have a voucher code, this is where you're going to put it in. You're going to type in the voucher code, and then you're going to click the submit button right here. If you were like me and you did not have a voucher code, instead what you're going to be doing, you're going to click the checkout at the bottom. So again, if you have a voucher code, definitely take advantage of that. If you do not have a voucher code, just click checkout, and you're going to pay that $10 US fee. Right. Now, I saw in the chat already, and I think Bonnie directed Zhang, apologies if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, to the help center. But soon after you complete your registration, you should receive your confirmation email to take the exam quite quickly. Their guidance is, I believe, between 24 and 48 hours. Me personally, I received my level 1 and level 2 confirmation emails within an hour. But what I would definitely recommend you do, if you don't receive it within this timeline, as was already put in the chat by Bonnie, she directed you to the help center to contact. I would also, I know this sounds generic, but definitely check your spam folder and see if it might be there. But I found in my case, and with most people I've spoken to, they've received this really, really quick. This just like comes flying right at you. Right. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about what is inside this email. Now, in the email that I have, this is from this past January, it said I had 8 days from receipt of the email to log in and complete the exam. I know I saw in the chat someone mentioned 7 days. Apologies if what I'm providing here is out of date. I would refer to the email you receive and read that specifically. But again, the email that I received said 8 days. Apologies if anyone is registered for the exam, and it said 7 days. Yeah, and just to echo, just to back the point from Bonnie, like speaking on behalf of Global GEG, the Google's spam has gotten a lot stronger. So always check that spam folder. So again, 8 days to start the exam. What it also outlines in here is that you actually are going to have 3 hours to complete the exam once you start. And we're going to look a little more at the specifics of this email and the logistics moving forward in a second. But again, you're going to have 3 hours to complete the exam. Right. Now, moving forward to specifically the confirmation email and the launch steps as they've outlined them. I thought that was a great name, like launch steps. It made me so excited, but then also extremely nervous. When you are doing the exam, it's it's recommended and it's actually advised that you should be doing this in an incognito window. If you're not familiar with an incognito window, not to sound flippant, but just Google it. It's in your Chrome browser. It's right there under Hamburger Incognito Window. You want to do the exam in there, and I'll explain why in a second. What you're also going to see in there is you're going to see an email that's right here. So it's right here. Sorry, I set my little browser. An email and a password specific for the exam. You're not logging in with your personal email. You're logging in with an account, a dummy account that they have made for you. So use that dummy account. This is one of the main reasons you want to be in an incognito window, as you want to avoid any issues that could arise at the time. Okay, so again here, so the email and password, everything is going to be here. Take advantage, so copy and paste those in. What I would also recommend you do is write them down by hand. I forget who recommended this to me when I was doing my level 1 exams. Write down the email and password and put it on a sticky note and put it right near you just in case. So have that ready. So again, this is all within the email that you're going to receive. This is all within that email that you're going to receive. Okay, so to wrap up thinking about some tips during the test, first of all, you can do it. You're going to do a great job, and just walk in with that confidence. First thing, make sure your computer has a working web camera. While you're doing the exam, you're going to be digitally proctored, meaning that they're actually going to be taking images of you while you're doing the exam. Make sure you're not going to be able to actually take the exam and if you do not have a working webcam. So you need to make sure that that web camera is working. Another thing, do not take screenshots. Do not share anything from the exam. You sign an NDA as a part of this process. You are not allowed to sit there, screenshot your way through it, and then share that with friends as they take the exam, because that will affect your ability to receive your level 1 certification and also your level 2 certification. And anyone who's interested in progressing to become a trainer, this will negatively this will be a huge hindrance if you broke the agreements of the NDA you signed. So do not take those screenshots or share any details from the exam. It is private. Bring your liquids. Bring your bottle. Make sure you're. I'm not going to specify which liquids. I'm just going to say make sure you are well stocked and prepared to get through this exam. Bring some snacks. It is a 3-hour process. Now, depending on your comfort level or depending on how you approach it, some people it's going to take the full 3 hours. Some it will not. But I do advise you to be ready the entire for the possibility that you're going to take that full 3 hours of the exam. Next thing. Go to the bathroom before. Make sure you go to the bathroom before. Super, super important. It's never fun to be mid-exam and have to run off. Take advantage of the facilities. Okay, so that's all for me, and I'm going to hand it back off to Dr. Shan and Jared.
Thank you so much, Ian. Those were great tips.
I see we are in blue, Jared. Just like we said last week, the color of confidence. So just like Ian also just told us, you can do it. We know that you can do it. Jared's wearing his confident blue shirt to inspire you just a little bit more. You can do it. You can also do this last leaderboard challenge. You want to share that with them?
Sure. So Global GEG is all about connecting and growing with other educators. So find a bootcamp participant either on Twitter or Facebook or somebody right here in the chat. So, everybody shared their Twitter handles, everything like that. So grab a friend and then send another bootcamp participant a message on social media to encourage them as they prepare for the exam. So send them a GIF, a meme, a very nice, well-written email or direct message, anything like that. Share that on Twitter, but encourage them and take a screenshot of your message and submit it to the leaderboard. And that way you will get your 100 points to get that golden ticket. There you go. Dr. Shan's dancing. She's got the golden shirt on, the golden ticket. Which, again, we do want to thank Amanda at Google for Education and the Google for Education team for providing those vouchers for level 1 and level 2. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate it. And so definitely send those messages to people. And then that's pretty much it, right, Dr. Shan? I have thoroughly enjoyed presenting, co-hosting with you on this.
Absolutely. This has been so fun, so exciting. We've learned so much over the last 2 weekends, but the learning doesn't stop here.
No, it does not.
Oh, wait, there actually is another leaderboard challenge. So bootcamp is no easy task, and all of the global GEG leaders are volunteering 100% of their time. Yes, we are volunteers, and there's been so much going on in the background, not only for this training, but all of the stuff that you see on Global GEG's YouTube and the website as well.
Shout out to Bonnie for being the behind the scenes guru this week, and Stephanie for last week. We couldn't be doing this without them. So thank you very much. And
yes, send a thank you message to a global GEG leader. There are so many. You can also go to the website again and see who some of those people are. Your message can be sent via social media. We invite you to connect with us as well. Grab a screenshot, and submit it for 100 points again. And
Extra. It says extra points. Look at that.
It says 100 extra points. We want to get to know you. We want you to be a part of our PLN as well.
So we thank everybody. If you are ready for level 2, we will be starting level 2 next week. So Bonnie and Rick will be emceeing that. We're very excited for level 2. So get your level 1 done. But if you're not, and you're not ready for level 2, that's perfectly okay, because these are recorded, right, Dr. Shan? You can come back and watch them later.
Yeah, at any time to Global GEG's YouTube and get more knowledge. So this has been so fun. Thank you, Jared, for being awesome. And I'll be here next week. Will you be here next week? I won't be on,
I'll be in the comments.
I'll be in those comments learning more about level 2. We hope to see you there as well. Bye, everyone.
Have a great Saturday, everybody. Take care.